Welcome back to Straight Facts. Lots to delve into today. The fallout of Man City's treble and how can they be caught? Will Lee's beloved Arsenal be able to do that next season? We're looking at some big transfers as well. A world record bid for a Premier League team is expected from Arsenal to West Ham United for over £100 million for Declan Rice. We're looking at Min-jae to Man United. The deal is reported as done as per the Italian press. We're looking at Tottenham as well. And of course, the fallout of Mbappe not wanting to renew a deal at Paris Saint-Germain. All that and much more. Your super chats, of course, we'll put those questions to Lee as well. But how are you, my friend? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's silly season. Arsenal have been linked to about 394 players already. And we've signed none so far. We've signed Reice Nelson up for 100 grand a week and 5 million upfront cash in the bank.
Yes, you have. That's not a bad deal.
Yeah, well, if you want to save the owner money, it ain't.
Yeah, and we're obviously going to delve into that when we get to the Arsenal section, trebles to talk about, and much, much more. Look at this. Guna says, "Get this mug off your show, Terry. Time to turn off."
Okay, cool. Adios. Goodbye. Let's go, Terry. End the show. Bye.
Yeah, Lee's done. Okay, cool. I listened to him now. He's done. Just me and a blank pink background. That's what we'll do. That is what we will do. Breaking news this afternoon, though, again from Italy. These Italian journalists are going out on this one. This has come from an Italian, Napolese publication, and it says that Min-jae is all set to join Manchester United from the 1st of July. That's when his buyout clause kicks in. Manchester United, from the 1st of July, Man United are reported to be willing to pay his 60 million release clause. The defender has accepted a contract offer worth 9 million a year. We've had some brief conversations about Min-jae in the past, but he's a very talented player that would definitely improve Man United's backline. Would you agree?
He's a massive upgrade on Maguire. So that's a starting point.
True.
Varane, does he get in over Varane? Probably not, if Varane's fit, but is he fit? Hardly ever. Like, he's in and out of the team. He can't have a sustained period of games. So it makes sense, man. He's a good player. He's had a great season. It's not ridiculous money if you're comparing it to Maguire money. So yeah, it makes sense, man. And he's a decent defender. So yeah, man, I think you'll get that deal done. I think that it gives you squad depth as well, because you can, if Varane's fit, I'd expect Varane and Martinez to play Lissandro. So it's good squad depth, man. And you're in the Champions League, so you're going to need some squad depth. But then if Varane's unavailable, then you can put him in with Lissandro as well. So yeah, it's a good signing, man.
There's a comment here that says, Terry, will he help catch City? Yes. Help. Not him by himself. There's a long way to go to catch Manchester City for all of us, but he most certainly will help improve the team and the squad to push us nearer, because he's a good defender, strong, quick, excellent from playing up from the back. All things, the amount of attributes he's got that Maguire doesn't have, and speed and better ability on the ball,
awareness.
Positioning, awareness. He's got all of those things. And I think Min-jae is good enough to become a first teamer at Man United. I think he's good enough to claim a first team place. But what great competition to have. You look at City right now with the amount of top centre backs they've got. Yes, Laporte might be going now, but with the age of Varane, with the injury concerns surrounding him, for me, fantastic piece of business. And you know, we obviously saw the news around. I love this kind. Terry with his pimp shirt on. It's all right. It's an all-in-one as well. Like it's
amazing.
Look at this bad boy.
Right, he's got the two-piece. Go on,
know, exactly.
All you need now is the cigar, and you've made it, mate.
Oh, it's because as soon as this show is done, I'm going to be leaving the office, and I'm going to be going to sit around my pool with the sunglasses on, drink in my hand, on a lounger by my pool. So I'm all ready for the pool. You know what I'm saying? All good to go. It doesn't. I thought it looked like pajamas. Though. I thought it looked like I was wearing pajamas a little bit, but supposedly that's the look. That's the look. So I'm going for it. But
who told you that?
The website said it was the look. Yeah, the website said it was the look. Yeah, I sort of feel like look, we all saw the news about Man United's takeover last night. That for me is more important than anybody we sign. Getting that done. It's obviously a lot of it's been played down today by the Qatari people. as in like the people involved in trying to buy the deal, Sheikh Jazim's team. But I am really quietly confident that we're going to get Qatari owners. And getting Qatari owners enables more deals like Min-jae. It enables one thing that they have said they're going to do, which I'm more excited than anything, is when a new president comes in America, they always do this the first 100 days of the president. Well, it's going to be the first 100 days of the Sheikh because they've set a basic rule in that everybody's job at board level, not the manager, he's going to get the season or beyond. He'll be judged on the standards of the club, of course, win trophies, progress, start challenging for the title. But everybody else at the club, scouts, board members, commercial teams, they've all basically got 100 days to show their work that they're good enough to be at Man United, or they'll lose their jobs. And that level of standard has been missing at Old Trafford for 10 years. And that's why, listen, so Jim might have his own plan, but he hasn't revealed any of it. The Qataris have, and it excites me. So I do hope this news of a takeover is the Qataris are going to win it, because with them at the helm, Man United can get back to the top. And do you know what I love? I thought like so many Liverpool fans, especially fuming, tweeting the Premier League, how they can't let this happen. There's no way this should be allowed to happen. And then they did the whole, but you spend more money than us anyway, so we're not bothered. We know we waste money. That's why we're angry. But we believe with competent owners who want to win, and I believe Sheikh Jazim and the Qataris will have even more money to spend, but on the right people in the right direction. So how do you like them apples? Stop being bitter and just accept it. And yeah, look, we're getting close now. Deals getting closer for Man United. The takeover feeling really imminent now. So yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit excited, Lee. Starting to.
Yeah, man, and you should do. If you get Qatari owners, mate, then you're probably going to go out and have a massive summer window. Yeah, if you don't get Qatari owners, you'll sign a couple of players. That'll be it. But if you go out there with Qataris, mate, you're going to sign quite a lot of players this summer. Yeah, and you should be excited. Yeah, I think it's a miles better option than Jim Ratcliffe. Mate, when that guy took over Nice, I think they finished second in the league the season before he bought it. Yeah, I think they finished 10th now. Yeah, he's took them backwards every year. So I don't know why any Man United fan would want to entertain Jim Ratcliffe at their football club. He ain't even a Man United fan. He's got a season ticket at Chelsea, isn't he?
He did have, yes.
Yeah. So if you had a season ticket at Chelsea and you made that totally like online, everyone knows Terry's got a season ticket at Chelsea, would they say you're a Chelsea fan or a Man United fan?
Of course.
Say you're a Chelsea fan, wouldn't they? So why is everyone gassed for Jim Ratcliffe? I don't get it. Yeah, Qataris come in with a totally different standard. They want to take over. They want to be the best. Yeah, Jim Ratcliffe, we've seen what he's done in France. Absolutely nothing apart from taking backwards. So you've already got a barometer there. You can already see that he ain't going to do what's required to even challenge PSG. Yeah, so how's he going to come in and challenge Man City?
Yeah, well, he's come out to Jim today with his team and said, if we don't get Man United, we're going to pump all this money we were going to give to them into Nice. And
why didn't he do that anyway?
Well, yeah, my sort of view on that is you've got to say that, because the Nice fans are probably sitting there thinking, yo, where's this $6 billion come from? If you'd have put £6 billion of investment into us, not all just on players, but stadiums, infrastructure, sponsorships, we would be in a much, a very different position as things stand right now. And look, as everyone said, I'm not as pessimistic about Sir Jim coming in as certain United fans, but I'm not jumping off the rooftops thinking that we're going to move in the right directions. I think the Qatari owners 110% are the best bet for us. Just hope they can get this over the line. And then I think players like Min-jae become one of many this summer. I think we'll break the bank for Harry Kane. We don't need to worry about budget so much. The only thing I am a little bit concerned about is the Caicedos and the Rices may have already agreed to join their clubs before the takeover happens, because they're two players I would desperately like at Manchester United as well. But Min-jae, really good start. Again, this is the third time now the Italian press have tripled down, I suppose now, and said, don't care what the rest of Europe are saying. We've been told that he's joining Manchester United. So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. There's a super chat actually that says expectations this season if you get taken over. Well, the expectations will, I suppose, rise ever so slightly. It depends on the transfer window, but my expectations are already to challenge Man City, to win a trophy, and to at least get into the quarterfinals of the Champions League, but to be highly competitive. But if we have a magnificent summer with these owners, let's say we do get Kim, we get Costa in goal, we get Kane, we get a Caicedo level midfield player and a few others, then listen, I want to be getting to that Champions League final. I want to be winning that Premier League. That's the standards. Listen, and then you judge the manager. You have to contextualize it and judge at the end. But that is what my expectations will be. Just because you don't achieve it doesn't mean you necessarily sack a manager, but that's got to be the expectations. And if we have owners that are going to drop 250, 300 million pounds this summer, that would be like 500, 600 million spent in 2.5 years on this squad. You've got to be expected to win big things, 110%. I'm not going to pussyfoot about it like some fans do, where no, another year. No, I want to challenge straight away, 100%.
Yeah, mate, I'll make you right. At the end of the day, if you've done 250 last summer. If you do another 250 or 300 this summer, he's got to win the title, or at least challenge for the title. Yeah, and get right down into the latter stages of Champions League. He's got to win something. Yeah, and Man United have not won a title for what, 12 years, 11 years?
10.
Yeah, that's a joke. Yeah, and if you're going out and doing 600 million in 2 summers, you got to win it. Yeah, it's Man United. Yeah, and that's the same with Arsenal, by the way. We're going to go and do 100 million on Declan Rice. Yeah, now that's what, nearly 600 million we've done. He better win the league next season.
110%. There has to be expectations upon these managers. Of course, if you push City right to the edge and you narrowly miss out coming second on 95, 96 points, again, you contextualize it and you look back. But we have to have those high expectations. I believe that our manager is good enough. And as I've said before, I believe with this takeover, because I said it a few minutes ago, the standards they will bring in, commercial managers, the people that make the tea, the chefs, the maintenance people, the individuals on the board that run the club day to day, if they're not good enough and you can find better, they're going to get dismissed in the opening 100 days. That, for me, sets a tone and sets a standard. That creeps into the dressing room. Jesus Christ, no one's safe. I better buck my ideas up. I better play a certain
That's how it should be, accountability. And that's been lacking at Man United and Arsenal and a lot of other clubs for a long time. Yeah, whereas there's accountability at Man City, which is why they keep winning. Pep called out the whole squad when I think they'd come back against Tottenham, I think 4-2 or something against Tottenham. And he said, I'll quit if you lot don't buck your ideas up. Yeah, all of a sudden, they go on a mad run and win everything. Yeah, and he had players sat on the bench, De Bruyne, Grealish, Foden, all sat on the bench. And he said, there's a lot of players here that are comfortable, and we ain't having comfortable players at this football club. He makes people accountable, but that's because the club make him accountable. Whereas at your club, nobody's been accountable for years. Yeah, it's just rinse and repeat. Go again. No, we'll go again next year.
No, 110%. I look at it from that point of view. I totally agree. There has to be accountability. But at the same time, on the flip side, with the right owners, with the right standards, with the correct investment being made, again, Ten Hag can beat Pep Guardiola to a league title. Man United can win the Premier League. Man United can win the Champions League. Rivals will, of course, laugh at that and say, no chance, no chance. Why? There is no reason why Man United, with the right investment, with the right standards at the club, with accountability being applied, and another vast improvement going into the 23-24 season, in the same way we improved in the previous campaign, Manchester United can, of course, win the league. We can, of course, challenge for the Champions League. There is no shadow of a doubt in my mind. It's all about standards, investing the right amount of money regularly enough, and that's why City have been that's why City in the Pep Klopp era, why City have blown them away, because when Liverpool got ahead of them and spent a good 18 months as better than Man City kept on spending, they kept on investing, they carried on pushing those boundaries. Where Liverpool became a little fat, a little bloated, and a little bit lazy on the success they got. The ownership didn't invest early enough. And then they got themselves into a position where the squad and team collectively just aged out. Too many players passed the best. Some of the cheaper signings didn't have the same impact as Gini Wijnaldum's and Mane's did when they arrived for relatively cheap prices. It's about continuing to invest, continuing to maintain those high standards, and never kind of resting on your laurels. Any one of our teams can win this Premier League, can catch Man City, can overtake Man City. You just have to be willing to do it and accept that it's plausible. I can't live in this world where we just deny that it's possible to catch anybody or to beat anybody or to move them out of the way. Because if that was the case, there would never be these cycles in football. Liverpool would still be the team winning. Liverpool would still be at the top from the 70s. They would never have been knocked off. But Man United came along and did it. Now City have come along and done exactly the same thing. So yeah, I believe in Man United 110%. If we have owners who care, invest, and raise those standards, I 110% think we can do big things. I really do.
And if the owners don't, like, let's say you keep the Glazers, that's now down to the fans to raise the standards of the Glazers. Because they're the only two things that can raise standards, either the ownership or the fan base. Yeah, but if the fan base are happy, like, they make out they're not happy, and they get the Norwich scarves out every now and again and start hashtagging Glazers out. Yeah, but we have this conversation every week. They're still going to the stadium every week and still spend their money every week. So it's all well and good sitting on Twitter with a hashtag Glazers out. But if the Glazers do actually end up staying, what are the fans going to do about it? They're still going to go and pay their season tickets. They're still going to go and watch the games. They're still going to hype it up. They're still going to pay their subscriptions to Sky to watch the games, which ultimately goes to the club as well. Yeah, they're still going to buy their shirts. Yeah, so it's all well and good hyping up online about the Glazers. But if they stay, the fans are still going to go like lemons to the football stadium.
110%. Yeah, I can't. I'm going to add nothing to that because it's completely spot on. Sully here says, after watching that painful City treble, I totally agree with Lee. Champions title, Champions League challenge, or bust is what Sully says here, and it was painful to watch. I agree. If the takeover happens, you should win the title. Well, look, again, I mean, should win the title is brushing aside one of the greatest English teams of all time in Manchester City. That's still going to be tough, irrespective of Man United becoming better. But we should be challenging for it 110%. And as long as you're challenging and you're pushing and you're not collapsing from, if we have a 10-point lead next year with 5 games to go and throw it away, then you've challenged, but you've also collapsed. So then you've got that. But I wouldn't say should win, but we have to be challenging, in my opinion. This says, if Man United get Qatari owners, the Premier League will be the Super League with Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Same starting project that can work really well, and others expect to win now. I don't think it'd be the Super League per se, because there's jeopardy. You can still go down. We've seen, like with Chelsea this season, spending money by itself doesn't guarantee you success. But another owner that's willing to clear debt and invest money, all it's going to do is make every club in England richer and wealthier. So I wouldn't call it a Super League.
Yeah, but then you'll get labelled buying the title. Yeah, oil money, backed by a state, by a government, by this. Yeah, it's like it's all well and good throwing the shade until it happens to your club, and then you lap it up in it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Which is why every year that I've been on YouTube, people can go back and check. I've never once said that about City or Chelsea, because I remember being in a space about a year or so ago, maybe a bit longer now, about 18 months, when Newcastle's takeover was happening and everybody was screwing and raging. But Terry, what do you make of it? You must be against it like we are. I said, look, I understand people's challenge, but I'm not going to sit here and slag it off. I said, I don't know who my next owner is going to be. I said, I don't want to have a clip of me on the internet attacking owners like the Saudis, just from my club. I said, take away what I believe politically, what I believe socially, what I believe morally. Take that away all for a moment and just look at it in simple terms. Imagine me sitting on there slagging it off and then just celebrating it in a year's time. True Geordie, he's a YouTube
I was going to say he did.
True Geordie for me, like, I just wouldn't want to be in that position where you've attacked City for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and then you celebrate it when you get the same. That's just not how my mind works. I can't personally do that. So yeah, there's no me doing
McGregor will deal with him soon enough anyway.
Who do you reckon would win in that fight?
Oh, come on. What do you mean, who would win? Like, come on, are you mad?
True Geordie's backing himself. True Geordie thinks he can beat Conor McGregor.
Yeah, mate, I think I can date Shakira. It don't mean it's going to happen, does it? Like, come on. Are you crazy?
You think McGregor would win then?
Easy. One hand behind his back. No dramas, mate.
I mean this genuinely, right? Some of the real tiny MMA fighters against someone True Geordie's size, it would be difficult because of the weight. But there's talk of Tyson Fury fighting John Jones in MMA. I want to say this now.
John Jones are killing.
Top MMA fighters in the world in a mixed martial arts fight would kill every elite level boxer inside a minute. They'd be unconscious. They'd all, even someone like McGregor, who's not renowned for his wrestling and grappling, he wouldn't even have to worry about getting hit. He'd charge him, take him down, get his neck, choke the cunt out. Done. Simple. That's what would happen. And that's just finished.
Just a knee to the face, mate. That'd do.
and that's any of these boxers. They all get taken out 110%. But yeah, it did make me laugh. Look, I agree with an element of what True Geordie said. I think McGregor I want to see McGregor come back and fight again. He's always a little bit too waved, in my opinion, for someone who's meant to be back in like 3 or 4 months fighting. He's too. So I just don't think he ever will. And I don't blame him. The man's worth 800 million. He's got Lamborghini yachts. He eats the best food. He owns, like, this guy is just loving. I sort of feel a bit like, bro, just retire. Don't just enjoy yourself, mate. Because I'd swap lives with him in terms of what accessibility he's got and everything else. But there,
You've seen the documentary on Netflix. You've seen it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
it's very, very good. It's very, very good. This here says we'll come to the Arsenal ones a little bit later in the show. Lee Gunner, it's time to become the Lee Citizen treble, is what he says there.
Well, I've been on loan for 2 years, man. I've seen 4 trophies. It's great. I've extended it for another 2 years. Yeah, I'm loving life. I was watching the parade yesterday. Apparently, they got no fans. Well, I see thousands there yesterday. Just saying.
Yeah, I see some pictures where it looked a little bit sparse, but then I saw other pictures where it looked really busy. And so you always get labelled with it. Don't help when some online City fans are posting the Napoli celebrations. It's like, don't do that,
I see that.
because you're drawing attention on yourself. Don't do that. Like, don't do it. That's a crazy one. I wanted to ask you about Mbappe. So he's not. I didn't realize this until today. So basically, Mbappe's deal is he did a 2-year extension, but it was 1 year plus 2. Sorry, 2 years plus 1. Now, the plus 1 can only be triggered by him. So PSG have got no control. He told them now in November that I'm not going to trigger it.
July. I told him July.
July last year. I'm not going to stay.
Literally days after he signed the contract.
Yeah,
I'm not signing anymore.
Obviously, he's heavily linked to Real Madrid. He's quote tweeted a publication, Le Parisien, today, basically saying, I might not be leaving this summer. It isn't true that I only want to go to Real Madrid this summer. Fabrizio has said, if the Glazers remain, Man United signing Mbappe is not a topic, but let's see what happens in case they have new owners. So Man United clearly linked. Chelsea have been completely ruled out. Real Madrid obviously will want him this summer, but PSG have said, we will not let him leave for free. So he's going to be sold this summer if he doesn't want to sign a brand new deal. What do you see happening, mate?
Well, now we're in the Champions League, Terry. I expect Edu to get the deal done. You're going to attract world-class players. You're going to attract world-class players in the Champions League, mate. That's all I keep hearing. So get him in. Get him in. Break the bank for Mbappe. The next Thierry Henry. Give him the number 14. Take it off Nketiah. Maybe we could do a swap. Plus cash. I don't see any reason why we can't sign him. I'm being straight up honest. I'm being straight up. We're in the Champions League. Everyone's been telling me, Champions League, you can attract world-class players. I keep hearing from the club that we're only going to go for top talent. We'll go and sign him then. He's available. We've just seen that. He's available. He's got 1 year left on his contract. Yeah, they're saying they ain't going to sell to Madrid. Well, they might not have a choice. Yeah, and we know Madrid are going to want him. They need a Galactico. The last one they signed has just left after doing nothing. Eden Hazard. Yeah, so they've just signed Jude Bellingham. They could go and sign him, but yeah, why ain't Edu going in for him? World-class players. Apparently, we can get them now. You're lost for words.
I am lost for words. But I agree with you in the sense of, I know there's wasting time on players that maybe will pick Real Madrid or maybe would pick Man United or whatever, but I expect every big team in Europe to try and sign him. And look, we know that the media and we know that fans do the transfer PR of official and unofficial bids and why bid for a player you can't get. If Arsenal or Man United do not make an inquiry for Mbappe, shame on them. He may say, look, I've got no interest. Even if Real Madrid say no, I'd rather stay at Paris Saint-Germain a year and wait and join Real Madrid in a free. At least you've inquired. There has to be, at the risk of being rejected, you must attempt to sign Kylian Mbappe, because barring Haaland, there isn't a forward of this new generation that will be as good as him. You've got Haaland and Mbappe, who are different in themselves, but they are miles clear of every other 25-year-old and younger attacker in world football. And I don't think in the next 5 to 10 years, anybody's going to come through that's as good as them either. They are that good. You have to try and sign them. 150 million euros is the reported fee. Now, listen,
Bargain.
Arsenal are about to drop 100 million pounds on Rice. So if Rice is 100 million,
go and get Mbappe or get both.
if Rice is 100 million pounds, and I don't even know, I haven't even looked at the exchange rate.
About 115 million euros.
115 million euros is what Declan Rice costs. I'm not saying don't buy Declan Rice, get him. But just forget Arsenal for a minute. I look at it from a United point of view. Look at if you're a Liverpool fan, whatever. Okay, 115 million for Rice. Euros, this is. But for 35 million euros more, you get in many people's mind the best attacker in the world. You have to inquire for this. All our teams do. The fact that Chelsea have already distanced themselves from it is mad to me. You've got to be in there. You find out that Beyonce's single and she's sitting in a bar and you're in that bar, you must, even if before you open your mouth, you get a palm in your face saying no, right? You've got to try because you never know. And you may never be presented with this. Actually, you won't. Whoever he signs for, it's a 6-year deal. This is the last chance to ever sign Mbappe. It's it. This is it. This is the one. You've got to 100%. Go for it. You've got to go for it.
Could you genuinely imagine this manager managing Mbappe? He'd play him at left wing back. He'd get him inverted. Like, mate, we're never signing him. Let's just be real. Arsenal are not even going to bid for him. They're not even going to try and inquire about him. Yeah, some journalists to make out we ain't going to. We're not going to bother. Yeah, and it's kind of sad, but it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is.
Where do you think he'll end up? At Real Madrid?
Yeah.
This summer?
And I've seen a lot of people saying that he won't go to Madrid because it's the same position as Vini Jr. He's wearing number 7 now, Vinicius. So it don't matter. Do you think he's going to turn down Madrid for the sake of a shirt number? Like, come on. Like, but he said he didn't want to play up front. I'm quite sure he'll play in goal if he gets a move to Real Madrid, mate. Yeah, and I'm sure him and Vinicius are that good. Yeah, that they can figure it out up front somehow, especially when you got Modric pulling the strings behind him and Jude Bellingham. Yeah, he'll go Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, and he starts the majority of his games now as a centre forward anyway. So, you know, there's a they're
signing a striker as well, so they could play him off of that striker, Madrid.
Yeah, and look, and even if he does, listen, without being horrible, he's better than Vini Jr. anyway. So
that's debatable.
You don't think he's better than Vini Jr.?
That's debatable. He's more dynamic, like in terms of like when he's good, he's fucking insane, isn't he? like look at the World Cup final. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But Vini Jr. is quality, man. Quality footballer.
Oh, I know Vini Jr. is, but I do think Mbappe's a little bit better than him. A little bit, only marginally. I'm not saying like clear. It makes him look rubbish, but I do think he's better. But the reason why, listen, I don't want him. If he doesn't come to Man United, I want him at Real Madrid. I don't want none of you mugs getting him. I am glad he's leaving though, because he hasn't done it yet in a top league, and I do think legacy-wise,
but then if he goes to Madrid, everyone will go, "Well, that's the Farmers League as well. He's scared of the Prem."
Only
Premier League is a Farmers League, mate. One team bothers to win it every year; the rest can't be asked.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it like he needs to be in a top league. He needs to be in a top league. He needs to deliver. I mean, he does brilliant in the Champions League as an example, but he needs to get to a club that's actually got the minerals to win it. And then he needs to be doing it in the Prem or La Liga, in my opinion.
I think Madrid's perfect for him, man. He gets a chance to win the Champions League every year. He's got one of the best managers of our lifetime managing him. He's got Modric, Kroos, top players, and then Bellingham's there as well. Yeah, Vini Jr. They got some quality players, Madrid, man. And I think that's gonna happen by the end of the transfer window. He'll be there. The thing is, his wages are ridiculous, isn't they? It's like 1.6 million a week or something he's having.
Well, this is the thing with Mbappe, though. He's worth it because you get... So he's already very, very popular, very, very commercially viable. But now that Messi and Ronaldo are practically retired, their fanboys are going to need to latch onto somebody else soon. And Mbappe is going to pick up a large percentage of them. And yes, he's a lot of money per week. But the amount of extra money your club's going to be able to generate in through revenue, having Kylian Mbappe at your team, whoever you are. But I'd love him at Man United. Like Mbappe on one wing, Rashford on the other, Kane in the middle. Oh, please. Please
How
make
are you,
it happen.
how are you shoehorning Rashford into that front three, by the way?
Because it'll be in that front three. It'll be in that front three. It'll be them three together. And I'd love it. I'd love it.
Why don't you swap Rashford for Mbappe and a bit of cash? Could do that, couldn't you?
If somebody said to me, the only way you can get him is Rashford and cash, I'd do it. Of course I would, because he's better than Rashford. And I'm not, again.
Send them Harry Maguire as a little sweetener as well.
Well, PSG are looking at Jadon Sancho. So if they want Jadon Sancho and Sancho can be convinced, it's a match made in heaven. You remove him, move him out, put him in, and then boom, literally 100 million euros and 80 million euros and Sancho is what I'd do as an opening bid. What a deal that would be.
Could you imagine him up against Ben White next season? Oh my days. That'd be peak viewing, I can't lie.
It'd be out of this world. It'd be absolutely out of this world. This super chat here says, does Edu know who Mbappe is?
Why do you look at me? He's not Brazilian, mate. He don't speak Portuguese, so yeah, we're not going in for him. And he's never played for Man City, so we're definitely not. So yeah.
This is how about Arsenal drop 100 million plus Balogun and Pepe for Mbappe?
Why? That could work. Let's get on the phone to him right now.
I mean, that's beyond a good deal, because Mbappe's left foot is better than Balogun, and Mbappe's right foot is better than Pepe. So you got two for the price of one.
Hold on. You're whoa. Hold on a minute. Balogun's sick. Balogun is a top footballer, mate. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but he's not half as good as Mbappe.
Based on what?
Based on my eye test. I
thought eye tests weren't. You don't do eye tests, do you? You do stats, you know?
I do eye tests and stats together like a human being.
Okay. So yeah, on that basis, then Balogun's up there with him, isn't he?
Slow it down. So, how close to Mbappe do you think Balogun is?
Well, they're totally different players.
That ain't the question.
No, because you're trying to get a clip. I ain't falling into this trap. No, I am not falling into this trap.
I just said that I think Mbappe's left foot is better than the whole of Balogun. You said,
yeah, well, it ain't. Yeah, well, that's just a stupid statement.
Why?
It ain't. Have you ever watched Balogun play football?
I think Mbappe's twice.
How many games have you watched Balogun play football?
About 6 or 7.
Well, there you go then. Come back to me when you've watched more.
Fine, but okay.
So he is a quality footballer.
I understand that. So debunk me. I think Mbappe is at least twice as good as Balogun. Tell me why he's not.
I never said he was. I never said he wasn't. What I'm saying is, you're saying
his left foot. His left foot is half of his footballing ability. That's what it means as a comment.
He's not got a brain.
Oh, come on. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Balogun is nowhere near.
Balogun, left foot, right foot, headers. Yeah, he's not as quick. Yeah, he's probably as strong. Yeah, because Mbappe is kind of strong as well. Yeah, Balogun's a sick footballer, mate. Yeah? And Balogun won't have the career Mbappe has. Yeah, because he's not as dynamic. He's not as marketable and all of that. Yeah, and he's not going to go and score 3 goals in a World Cup final. Yeah, so I don't even think who did he sign for the other day? I think he's gone to Canada to play for Canada.
Is it America?
Canadian national team or somewhere, I think. Or was it America?
America.
Yeah, so he's never going to be in a World Cup final. But to dismiss Balogun just like that, mate, I
didn't dismiss him. I just said that Mbappe is at least twice as good as he is. Mbappe's got more talent, more ability, delivers at the highest level. And look, Balogun could go on and have a really good career. I've not said he's bad at all, but we're comparing him to Mbappe. He doesn't get to lace Mbappe's boots in terms of their ability, quality, nothing. Look, Balogun had a good season as well, by the way, in France. So I kind of kept my eye on it.
His first full season.
Mbappe is arguably the best attacker in the world right now. Balogun's probably, if you were to list them all, probably doesn't even make the top 20.
Don't even make the top 20.
Attackers in the world.
It depends if you're going off of stats or just off of ability or ability and stats. It depends because you have a look at his form last season. Yeah, he was crazy. That was his first full season. Yeah, he's never played for Arsenal, really. He's played a handful of games for Arsenal. He's gone out on loan. Yeah, I'm not comparing Mbappe to Balogun for all the idiots in the chat. Yeah, or Balogun to Mbappe. What I'm saying is the way you just dismissed Balogun for being bang average, basically.
I didn't say that. I didn't say anything of the sort.
Balogun's a top player, mate, and he'll prove that over the next 5 years.
I've said not one negative thing. I'm just pointing out, in terms of that deal that somebody commented on,
You said Mbappe's left foot is better than the whole of Balogun's fucking.
Yes, he's elite. He is.
Okay. Well, we're seeing 5 years. That was his first full season. That's all I'm saying. People are sleeping on Balogun, mate. I'd keep Balogun at Arsenal. He's quality.
But I think Balogun is very good, but we're comparing him here to.
Well, why don't we go and get Mbappe and keep Balogun, and then we've got them both?
No, but that wasn't what somebody's. That isn't the deal that somebody put forward. Like, I think Balogun is good. I think he's a good player, but
Balogun is a quality player.
Yeah, I never once said anything negative about him at all. But in my opinion,
hey, that's a good comment in the chat. Lacazette scored 20 goals this season.
Yeah,
that's true.
It is true.
No, Balogun's a good player, man, and I want to see him at Arsenal next season.
Do you think he's in terms of? Do you think where would he rank in terms of all the attackers at Arsenal, from best to worst?
He's better than Eddie. Miles better than Eddie.
Yep.
Yeah. Output for goals, he'd probably get more goals in a season than Jesus. If we was to play him week in, week out, I reckon he'd score 20 plus goals. Because he's a different type of striker. Jesus is not in the box half the time. Yeah, and that's not a diss on Jesus. I think he's a quality player. Yeah, but I think Balogun's sick. Yeah, I think he'd bag 20 goals for Arsenal if he played up front all season.
In the Prem or across all comps?
Maybe all comps, but I'd even I don't know. All comps. If he was played Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup, and Premier League for the whole season, play like 60 games or so, I reckon he'd bag more than 20 goals. With the amount of crosses we put into a box, yeah, with the amount of possession we had based on this season, yeah, and the amount of chances we create, he'd bag 20 plus goals comfortably.
And when you say they're seeing 5 years, in terms of the comparison with Mbappe, how close do you think he'll be to Mbappe in that time in terms of outputs?
No, you're not leading me down this road, mate. Yeah, I'm not saying he's on Mbappe's level. I'm not saying that. For all the people that think I am, I'm not. But what I'm saying is, in 5 years' time, people have realised that Balogun's a fucking top player, mate. Really good. Oh my God, how have we let him go? Because if we let him go, we better put a buyback clause back in there. Yeah, because he is a top player. I'm telling you, he is a top player, mate. Yeah, and I called this years ago and got trolled on Twitter by all these top gooners when I said, give Balogun 100 grand a week. Yeah, and that was when he was haggling for, he wanted 100 grand. And he'd played 1 game for Arsenal, I think, or 2 games for Arsenal. So give him 100 grand a week. I see enough in 2 games. Yeah, top player. Yeah, now it's funny because then all these years later, the same top gooners are lording up his season in France. Yeah, whilst we're watching Eddie and Ketia stink the gaff out on 100 grand a week. Funny this, isn't it? 5 years from now, he'll be considered a top striker by the majority of people online. Top player, mate.
There we go. This here says, Lee, what's your reaction to Messi to Miami?
Fair play to him, man. Fair play to him. Yeah, it's end of an era, man. It's end of an era. Messi no longer in Europe. But yeah, good luck to him, man. He's got his work cut out because they're bottom of the league. But the amount of money it's cost to get him over there, I think he's got shares in Adidas, shares in Inter Miami, shares in the league. Like, it's just ridiculous, man.
Yes, it's a crazy deal.
Fair play to him, man. He's earned it. He deserves every penny he gets.
Guna Dan says, don't want Mbappe and Martinelli is younger. Hashtag Project Youth.
I know he's trolling.
Someone tweeted that last night. An Arsenal fan last night. I quote tweeted it with eyes.
Oh my days! I'm going to see what I'm up against.
But I quote tweeted it, and he said his name is.
They actually being serious?
Maybe he said I wouldn't take Mbappe. Stunts Emil Smith-Rowe's development off the left.
What's the name of the account?
Mbappe could give us 5 years, whereas Smith-Rowe could give us 10. It's at AFC Sam with 4 M's. 10K account, bruv. 10K following. Like, he's legit.
Unbelievable.
I couldn't believe it. Lee, would you be happy if Arteta went to City?
Would I be happy if Arteta went to City? No, because he wouldn't win anything, and I'm on loan there for 2 more years. You asked me a question last week, right? And somebody sent me the video of Steve because like people in the chat were making out he was slagging me out off and that, and you said, well, he weren't. And I watched it and he was cool. I don't see why they were just trying to start beef. You know what these people are like? They're trying to start beef with everyone. Like, oh yeah, he said this about you, right? And I watched it, yeah. But any Man City fan in this chat right now, and Steve, if he stumbles across it and watches it, if Pep walks away right now, would you take Arteta as manager? Real talk, would you actually take Arteta as manager? Because if the answer is no, then why the fuck's he at Arsenal? Because if he ain't good enough to be Man City manager, he ain't good enough to be Arsenal, is he? Because they're the benchmark. So any Man City fans that wouldn't want him, do you know what I mean? Yeah, we're supposed to be doing better than them. We're linked to Cancelo and all of this. Like, come on, turn it in.
Yeah, I know you don't. I know you're not a big fan of him. This says if Mbappe is for sale, City will pay cash in full. Look, I can't
From which account?
Yeah. For what account would they go for? It could be from any. Terry, if Man United's takeover happens, could you challenge us next season? 100%. We could challenge you next season. I think we might challenge you anyway. If we get ownership.
That's fighting talk. You said Liverpool would win the league as well. I actually said Chelsea would finish above Arsenal, so I'm zipping it.
Yeah. I think
we got predictions wrong, Terry. Flip-flops.
This here says, I don't get the Lee hate. I like hearing opinions I disagree with. I think to myself, this is why this is wrong, and try to put it into words that make sense. Helps me to form my own opinions. Agree. It's absolutely the right way of doing it. If I got every gooner on,
people only hate because they don't like the reality. They don't like truth. Yeah, it's like, have you seen that TalkSport tweet that's doing the rounds? Name something that sounds false but is actually true, like a sporting thing. Like, I didn't even know this. Griezmann's never won a title.
That's mad.
Years. Every time he's left the club to join another club in Spain, that team he's left wins the league. It's almost like he's the problem.
Yeah, but sign him then, keep him for a year and then sell him, and you'll win the league. Like it's an omen. That's crazy.
But yeah, the one I put it on my Instagram. The one I was thinking is something that's false, but or seems false, but is actually true. Arsenal haven't won a trophy since 2020. You wouldn't think so, though, would you? With all the hype around us at the minute. Going into 4 years now without a trophy going into this season.
Speaking of you, though, Arsenal are closing in to see for a closer ceiling, a club record deal to sign Declan Rice. The final fee is expected to surpass 100 million. It's meant to be more than 100 million, inclusive of add-ons for Declan Rice. We know there's been some unofficial bids that have gone in as you build up towards this overall package and deal now. But it looks like you're getting your man very, very early in this transfer window, Lee.
Well, you say that, Terry, but we sat here last Wednesday, on the eve. No, it was the day of West Ham playing their final. And you said to me, do you think the bid would be in by the time we do the show next week? And I said, no chance. Here we are. Yeah, it's close. Prepping a bid, lodging a bid, imminent, closing in. Like all of these things I hear, man. Like, come on, do me a favour. Yeah. We've been chasing Declan Rice since January. Yeah. Oh, they're in talks discussing the fee. Well, why didn't we ask in January what the fee would be? Like, come on. Like, am I missing something here? Like, I know it's a big deal. Yeah. But at the same time, surely the same procedures happen for a big deal and a little deal. Just different payment plans or whatever. Yeah. An upfront payment and stuff like that. But it's basically the same thing. You phone the club, you ask how much do you want for the player. Yeah, then you think about it and go back with a bid. It's not difficult, is it? Why do people complicate this crap? Yeah, at the end of the day,
I think it's a bit more.
We got told we were respecting West Ham until they finished that final. Well, that final finished 6 days ago.
All right.
Well, where is he then? He should have signed. Oh, but the window's not open. Well, how is everyone else signing players then?
I'll ask you a question then. So when it comes to transfers being that simple, why do you think clubs, including the best run clubs, because the average time it takes City to sign their biggest signings of the summers is about the same as Man United's in the last 5 years. All clubs typically take about the same amount of time to sign players. Why do you think it takes everybody so long?
Well, Real Madrid don't have a problem. They've signed Bellingham already.
Yeah, but
and they're about to sign Joselu today as well.
Okay, but Real Madrid, again, so you're looking at one summer. I've seen Real Madrid sign players late in windows, early in windows, middle of windows. I've seen all clubs do early. All clubs do very late transfers.
I'm not saying that, Terry, but when Arsenal have a history of longing out every single transfer.
Yes, I get that.
We know William Saliba signed a new contract. Why has it not been announced?
So I get this. So I'm not asking you do they or don't. I'm asking you why. I'm asking more for the why behind the what. I know what you think, that Arsenal are longing it out. Why do you think it's being longed out is what I'm asking.
Because they don't want to pay 100 million. That's it. Let's just be real with it. Yeah, we've got a history of this, Terry. Go back to when we signed Granit Xhaka. We signed Granit Xhaka. We could have signed N'Golo Kante, who wanted to come to Arsenal. Why didn't we sign N'Golo Kante? He was cheaper in terms of the fee, 32 million. We signed Xhaka for 35. But the overall package for the agent and the wages meant the fee on top of all of that was 3 million quid more for Kante than it was for Xhaka. This club's got a long history, even back to George Graham era, of haggling on deals. Yeah, David Dean was a lot better than Gazidis and Edu. Miles better. When David Dean was here, we used to go in for a player and they'd want to come because it was Arsenal. Yeah, but we'd still haggle over deals, haggle over prices. We do it all the time. Like, if you need a player that badly, sometimes you just have to pay the money. Yeah, haggling over an extra £1 million. Like, do me a favour. Yeah, we're just giving Reice Nelson 5 million quid in his bank account to sign on. Yeah, and 100 grand a week. And we're haggling over a couple of million for Declan Rice. Why? Because that's what we're doing. Yeah, because I expected he's given his word and all of this one, he's got his heart set on Arsenal, only wants to live in London or play in London. Yeah, he actually lives in Kingston upon Thames, which isn't London, it's Surrey. Yeah, so he wants to stay in London, live in London. Well, he don't live in London. So whoever wrote that article is an idiot. He lives in Kingston upon Thames. But I keep hearing all of these things. He wants London. He wants Champions League. He's given his word. Yeah, he don't want Bayern Munich. He don't want anywhere else. Yeah, you know, he's got his heart set on the club. Blah, blah, blah. He's given his word and all of that. Yeah, Arsenal have been in for him since January. We want him. They've said that they're allowing him to leave. He's rejected 200 grand a week 18 months ago. So he's lost out on about 10 million quid, I think David Sullivan said, in loss of earnings, because he could have got that contract. So why we got the yellow ticker tape coming across Sky Sports yet, Declan Rice to sign for Arsenal then? Like, it's only about the money, Terry. Yeah, we do not want to pay either. See, I read a report the other day saying that they want it in 2 payments.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pay it then. Pay it. Why are we also not allowing, Granit Xhaka's deal to go through yet with Leverkusen? Because if we're that confident that we're going to get a replacement for Granit Xhaka with another 12 weeks of the transfer window or more left to go, then why have we not allowed Granit Xhaka to sign for Leverkusen yet then? Because that's a done deal. It's all signed, ready to go. So, like, why ain't he gone?
I understand your frustration at Arsenal because they've messed some things up in the past. But are you not excited? You're just about to break. If this deal is over 100 million, you're going to break the British transfer record to sign somebody. This is everything you've been asking your club to do.
Oh, mate, I'm buzzing if we sign Rice. I didn't think we'd sign him. If we sign him, I have to buy a shirt with Rice and name and number on the back. That's how confident I was we weren't signing him. Yeah, but listen, it ain't done. Yeah, as far as we're aware, there is no official bid gone into West Ham. There's just talks and talks and talks, which indirectly, we said this backstage, indirectly, that is kind of a bidding process. Yeah, but no official bid has been put out to the public yet. Right, so maybe they have bid. Maybe they are doing, like, trying to save a couple of quid. Cool, whatever. Yeah, but at the end of the day, Terry, we've been here many, many times. Mikhailo Mudryk, Vlahovic, Rafinha, Houssem Aouar. I could go on and on and on. Deal done. Yeah, I can show you a tweet from 2017 from Charles Watts saying Arsenal are extremely confident that in the next 48 hours, Mbappe will be a player of theirs. When he was at Monaco, yeah? And people believe these people. Like, come on. Like, some of them are credible. That guy's not. But people believe every word he says because he's wrote a book about Arteta. And it's like, come on, mate, do me a favour.
Who is that, sorry?
Charles Watts. He's wrote a book about Arteta and he's charging 20 notes for it. Like, do me a favour, mate. How about start reporting on what's going on at the football club properly instead of writing a book in awe of the manager that's won 1 trophy out of 15? Yeah, but for me, Declan Rice, top player. I'm buzzing if we sign Declan Rice. But we can't just stop at Declan Rice. Now go and get Caicedo. Yeah, because last summer when everyone was hyping up the transfer window 8 out of 10, and I was sitting there saying 4. Oh, you're negative. You're toxic. Oh, just enjoy it. We signed Jesus and Zinchenko. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, come January window, everyone's going, oh, we've got a thin squad. Well, didn't I tell you that in the summer when I was giving it a 4 out of 10 and you were hyping up everyone? Yeah, we need a striker, a proper striker, one that can bag 20 goals a season. We need 2 midfielders. We need a right winger. We need a centre back. And we need a right back. And if Tierney leaves, we need a left back. Yeah, and how many of them players do you think we're getting this summer? So it won't be an 8 out of 10, will it? It'll probably be a 4 or a 5 again because we will not do what's required in this window. We'll go and sign Rice. Fantastic. Brilliant player. I'll rate him a lot. Yeah, but that'll be the marquee signing. Then we'll go and sign Castagne from Leicester. Yeah, we've just signed Reice up, so that's the right winger covered now.
So what do you think about the Castagne deal?
No thanks.
Why?
Why? Have you seen him play football?
I've got my opinion. But I want to hear yours rather than assume.
Have you seen him play football? Terry is trash. He is absolutely trash. Yeah, if we're going to go and get a right back, we might as well just keep Cedric because it's pretty much a muchness. We might as well just keep him and save the 12 mil for somewhere else. Yeah, like what is going on here? He is absolutely shocking. Yeah, but apparently we can assign world-class players in the Champions League, Terry, and we're looking at Castagne. Yeah, like this is we rinse and repeat every season, and everyone hype up Declan Rice. I've already seen everyone saying, "Oh, future captain," based on what? He ain't even kicked a ball for us yet. He ain't even signed for us yet. Future captain on what? Because you fancy him, and because it's £100 million player. So, well, we're giving the armband. No. Yeah, let's see what he does for the club when he gets here. Fantastic player for West Ham. Rate him a lot. I'll take him all day long. But now add to that. Yeah, now go and do that. And yes, we have got time. We can do that. But Terry, I have seen transfer window after transfer window after transfer window. I know exactly what's going to happen. And we'll end up not having enough players. Yeah, we'll end up with a couple of injuries. Tommy Asu will cover at left back now. He's apparently going to be in pre-season. So Tierney will go. We won't bother getting a left back because Kivior can play there. And Tommy Asu can play there. We'll go and get Castagne. Yeah, we'll go with the same centre-backs as last season. And then we'll have Kivior who can cover for one of them. Yeah, and we'll go and sign Declan Rice. We'll go and sign maybe another midfielder somewhere, and that'll be about it.
Fabrizio has just tweeted while we're talking, and he said that Bayern, confirming the news that Bayern Munich have now officially pulled out of the Declan Rice deal because they know he wants to stay in England. Tuchel is a big fan, but the deal was never close to being completed. Arsenal working on their official bid as personal terms won't be an issue. So I think there's not much there we didn't know. We all knew he was not going to Germany. We know he wants to remain in the Premier League. I do think, though, Declan Rice could become your captain. I think he's that good. Now, you've got to see how he performs for Arsenal. But in terms of how good he is, the man's a leader. The man is a born and bred leader. He's a top-class footballer. And I think he'll make Arsenal such a better team. He's so much better than Granit Xhaka. It is unbelievable. I also think he's 6. He's better than Thomas Partey. And you'll see levels from him being a better team surrounded by better players.
Yeah,
the big
but
question
this is what we should be doing. We should be finding players that take out players that are already in the first team, not just signing backups. Yeah, because we see when we signed backups last summer, Fabio Vieira. Yeah, then we're going into games and then the manager's looking at the bench going, don't really fancy Fabio. Yeah, don't really fancy him. Oh, no, I can't put Tierney on. We should be signing players that get in the first team. And then the first team players that are there now become the backups. And then you've got healthy competition. This is how Man City do it. Yeah, Mahrez was sat on the bench in the Champions League final. Sat on the bench, didn't even get a game. No, I mean, that's the levels, man.
No, I hear you. And I think that's where Arsenal fans have got to be happy about this deal, but then remain focused because the article that broke the news that you're very close to this deal last night also stated that you're in for Caicedo and you are pushing also still for Ilkay Gundogan. Now, I know you're not a big fan of taking in Ilkay Gundogan because of, you don't, age and City don't want him and everything else that you said last week. But do you see there being a bid for Caicedo, or can you imagine a world where you get Rice and then slowly the Arsenal press start to talk about other priorities?
Yeah, we're not getting both. It's one or the other. Yeah, and don't rule out Man City bidding for Declan Rice. Yeah, all of this talk about it's nearly done and it's imminent and blah, 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 and it's close and all, giving his word and all that. Man City bid for him, it's game over, mate. I said that last week. Yeah, and like I said before, and it's funny because most of the mainstream media are running with it as well. Said Calvin Phillips could go the other way. All of a sudden, it's like they watch the channel. Yeah, same with Tierney. I said months and months ago, back in November, I said Tierney will be at Newcastle next season. Yeah, like now all of a sudden he's linked to Newcastle. Yeah, and this guy in the chat saying negative. How's it negative, mate? Yeah, it's facts. Yeah, based on what I've witnessed after year after year after year. Arsenal will not do what is required in the transfer market to go and win the title. Why would they? Man City earned £3 million more by winning the title this season than we did for finishing second. They earned £5 million more last season for winning it than we did finishing fifth. So where's the incentive for our ownership to go out there and blow an extra 100 million on top of what we were already going to do to get back 3 or 5 million? No incentive.
Well, the super chat that came in earlier on this that says, "Congratulations, Nuggets, for winning the NBA final." Lee, does it bother you that Arsenal is the only team that doesn't win a trophy? I assume the Nuggets are owned by the Cronkies as well. So the Rams when you say there's no incentive, they've managed to create a basketball and an NFL team that have won their major trophies.
And a lacrosse team.
Years.
And a hockey team.
Lacrosse, fair enough. So why do you not think they're motivated to do it with Arsenal?
I don't know. Just don't see it. I've basically, at the end of the day, Terry, right? We've had a start of this month, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah, there was talk that we want to be self-sufficient. Well, we are, because they don't put any money in. Yeah, we want to be self-sufficient. We're going to have the last big summer spend, and then we're going to go, just picking 1 or 2 players here and there. Well, that's what we do every summer anyway. It's what we do every summer. We signed Fabio Vieira for 35 million quid. Whoever sanctioned that should be sacked. Sam Villaconga, 17 million. Well, there's 51 million. We're nearly at Caicedo money now. Yeah, give it to Tierney. You've got Caicedo money. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
you need to be going for both. There's no shadow of doubt in my mind.
If we go out there and go and sign Declan Rice and Caicedo, we still need a striker. We still need a right back. We still need a centre back. Yeah, we're not going to sign a right winger because Reice has signed a new contract. Yeah, we probably won't even sign a striker because Eddie Nketiah is there. We may bring Balogun back. Who knows? But they'll probably try and balance the books. So they'll get rid of Balogun for 40 mil, get rid of Tierney for 40 mil, and we'll end up with our summer spend net with sales probably not a million miles apart from what we spent.
Yeah, I kind of look. I get why you're downbeat. A lot of people in the audience saying you're being negative, why you're not happy. I kind of get why you are, because it is once
19 years no title, 29 years no trophy in Europe. What am I supposed to be jumping around, knee sliding across the marble? Do me a favour. 19 years without a title. 3 years without a trophy.
This year says that it's not year after year under full Kroenke ownership with Champions League football on offer. This is the first summer you can judge. Caicedo will come too.
What are you chatting about first summer I can judge? I've seen this in the Champions League 20 times and never, ever won it. One final, one semi-final. I don't know why everyone's so gassed about Champions League. Do you think we're going to win it, Zach? Real talk. Do you think Arsenal will go and win the Champions League? They won't. So why are you so happy about being in it?
But in terms of his
they won't do what's required in the transfer market to go and actually have a go at it.
In terms of his comment, though, he says under full Kroenke ownership. You haven't been in the Champions League under full Kroenke ownership, have you?
No, 2018, I think they paid the debt off. Well, they assigned the debt to themselves rather than paying the bank.
Yeah.
So they wiped it off and signed it to themselves.
Yeah. So you haven't seen Arsenal in the Champions League with Arteta under full Kroenke ownership yet. So
no, but I've seen us in the Europa League getting pammed by Olympiacos, our ex-manager with Villarreal and Sporting Lisbon from the halfway line. Yeah, well, and I'm supposed to believe that this manager is going to go and take on Real Madrid. Okay, mate. And Bayern Munich and that. Do me a favour. You can't even beat Sporting Lisbon. Yeah, or Villarreal on our own ground. No goals scored in 2 legs against Villarreal. Wow. And I'm supposed to believe that now we're going into the Champions League. It's the Holy Grail. And he's the man to guide us to the glory. He can't even guide us to a League Cup. Yeah, 3 years in a row, he's won nothing. He shouldn't even be here.
You're still really pulling on the Arteta should be sacked conversation.
PSG just sacked their manager for winning the league.
Right.
They just sacked their manager. He won the league. With PSG fans crying. Oh, you're negative. No, they wanted him sacked. Yeah, Ancelotti's lucky he's still got a job. Yeah, because 90% of their fans want him sacked. And he's won 6 trophies, Terry, in 2 years. Yeah, all this rubbish about, why don't you want him sacked and all of this. Terry, he has not won a trophy for 3 years in a row. The last time we won a trophy was 4 FA Cups ago. Yeah, so why is he here?
I think though, there's a few examples of this though. So Ancelotti not being sacked this year, he's got more credit in the bank for his history and what he's won in this stint at Real Madrid. But if they go and win the league next year and do well in the Champions League again and win a couple of more trophies, then it's the right decision. Equally, West Ham fans wanted Moyes sacked earlier on this year. He's won their first European trophy in 58 years. Napoli fans broke into their manager's car, stole his steering wheel, and said, "You'll get it back if you quit your job."
Oh, how toxic! How toxic. Did all their fans go on Twitter and threaten to kill him and abuse and all that?
But he stayed and he won their first league title in 20 plus years.
And then quit.
Yeah, well, he's quit, but then they sent him back. They actually sent him his steering wheel back, which is very beautiful and nice. But the point is,
and his CDs, they nicked his CDs.
Hindsight is really lucrative, Lee. And if West Ham would have sacked David Moyes months ago, if Napoli would have sacked their manager 2 years ago, they may not have just.
Terry, I get what you're saying. Who are the 3 most successful teams in the last 20 years in Europe and domestically combined?
Well, I know who they are.
The 3 most successful: Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Chelsea. In the last 20 years, they've had 17 managers each. Now add up how many trophies they've won. So it's like it's almost like they understand that they're paid employees that are replaceable. Yes, there's examples of David Moyes and that guy, etc., etc. But Terry, they're paid employees. They're disposable. If you're not doing a job and you're not fit for purpose anymore.
So I understand all of that, Lee. The difference is, though, is that Arsenal don't have now and have never had what those 3 teams had during their period, their times of real success.
Standards.
Now, let me be serious for a minute. Because Chelsea, we've had this debate before and proven it before. Chelsea, since FFP came in and the new TV money came in, their level of success has shrunk in compared to the first 8, 9, 10 years that Roman owned them, especially when you look at challenging for league titles, which they haven't done now for going on 7 years. They won a Champions League in that period, but 7 years without a league title challenge. Sacking managers stopped working there when the money was more evenly spread in the Premier League. The one difference with Real Madrid over the last 20 odd years and Bayern Munich compared to Arsenal is that those clubs have a financial monopoly within their nation. Barring Real Madrid, they have Barcelona next to them. There's a financial monopoly that they have in domestically, and they're 2 of the biggest clubs in the world, and they're bigger than Arsenal overall. So the examples you
give. How comes Arsenal spent more than them then, Terry, since 2008?
Please let me finish. Please let me finish my point. So I'm at a point where I understand where you're coming from, but just sacking managers alone isn't what creates the winning mentality. It is the standards at the football club. It is the quality of player that you have, and also it's about where your process has started from. And I know you hate that word, and you're absolutely right. Arsenal have made a foul low since 2008. I totally get and understand that, but a lot of that isn't on Mikel Arteta because it was different ownership, different manager, different people running your football club who started your spiral downwards. Now, the difference is at Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. Now, maybe there's a period in time of their history I'm unfamiliar with. I don't know of a time where Real Madrid or Bayern Munich fell so far from grace like Arsenal did, where they went 20 years without winning a league title, and they ended up being mid-table for 2 or 3, 4 years. I don't remember that happening to their clubs. So they've never fallen so far to have to be rebuilt from to give that the new people.
Why is that, do you think?
So listen, but I understand. This is where me and you clash sometimes, but we shouldn't. You're right. If Arsenal would have maintained their standards from 2004, you'd never have been in the position that Mikel Arteta took over from. But that isn't Mikel Arteta's fault. At the end of the day, if you quit YouTube and you go back to work for any business, you're working in sales, and you walk into an office that for 10 years have been run like shit, and it's on the ground, and you've got to build it up from nothing again. You, though, can't be held responsible for 10 years of failure. You can only be...
I'll turn it around inside 2 weeks, and it'll be rocking again.
Lee.
Come on, I've done it before.
Lee, but you get my point. You are not accountable.
I get your point, Terry, but at the same time, you're saying from the club that Arteta picks up and this and that. Mate, we finished 5th the season he got the job. The season before, we finished 5th. 1 point off of 4th. Yeah. Now everyone's jumping for joy. 3.5 seasons later, or 4 full seasons. Obviously, he wasn't there. Emery was there for 13 games. All right. Then Freddie came in. All right. But 4 years later, we have only just surpassed Unai Emery's only full season in points tally. Right. Well, that's on the manager then. So hold on. Unai Emery. Hold on. Unai Emery had the golden boot striker up front. This guy couldn't get a tune out of him. He had Lacazette, Unai Emery. In that season, I'm not a GA merchant, but in that season, we got to the Europa League final. That season, Aubameyang won the golden boot, and between them, they got 72 GA. This guy killed them both off. I'm not saying they were the answer, but they weren't the whole problem. He was a part of the problem, the manager. Now you look at some of the signings, Terry. Runnison, Cedric, We signed Cedric when he was injured on loan, and he was still injured when we gave him a 4-year deal. What's that all about? On 80 grand a week. Yeah. Then we've signed Sambi Lokonga. We've signed Vieira. We've signed Rob Holden up to a new deal. We've signed Reice Nelson up to a new deal. We've signed Eddie Nketiah up to a new deal. Why? These are all on the manager. We've just given Reice 100 grand a week for 589 minutes played last season. What the hell is going on here? After giving Eddie Nketiah 100 grand a week the season before for scoring 5 goals that took us from 4th to 5th. Where's the accountability, Terry? Yeah, and this is my problem with it. It's all well and good saying we've dropped down to 8th. He took us to 8th, which is why the standards are on the floor because, it's a rebuilding. It's progress. No, how about win something, mate? Cool, you won the FA Cup. Since then, he's ripped the whole squad to shreds and won nothing with his own players. Surely that's got to have some accountability, right?
So I agree. Let me just respond to that. So I understand where you're coming from. And I do think accountability now needs to start being applied massively to Mikel Arteta. But sometimes in life, you have to go backwards before you go forward. And my coach used to say this to us in kickboxing and karate training. Turns out he stole it from Bruce Lee. But I didn't know this, where he basically said, you might think you know everything right now, but if you come in here with a glass half full, there's only so much of my knowledge you can take in. You got to empty it and pretend you know nothing. You've got to start again. We've got to break you right back down to basics. Fighters go through this. Sometimes fighters have to reconfigure how they fight. It might be because of injury. It might be because they've been worked out. It might be because suddenly they've got 2 or 3 new competitors who just have a style that beats their style. So they have to go back to the drawing board. And when they do that, they sometimes go backwards before they move forward because they've got to get used to a new way of doing things. There is no one size fits all when it comes to building up a football club. I think your point will be true if you go from where you were this season of being in a title race, being one of the best teams in the league all year. If next year you drop off from that and win no trophies again, collapse in the Champions League after a big summer, which it looks like you're going to have, then I think your points hold water. The thing is, though, if you go to another level next year, and let's say you win the league, let's say you go to another level and you challenge for the Prem again, even closer this time, and you win the FA Cup and you get to the semis of the Champions League, suddenly then this 4 or 5 year process of you saying, we went backwards first, we signed some poor players as well, we did all these things wrong, where's the accountability? Suddenly you were going to start to see the fruits of this labor. What Arsenal believe, and I just think it's going to be a thing about timing, is they had to strip everything back to basics and start all over again. Because, by the way, of what your point that you're right about, is that for 15 odd years, maybe a little bit less than that, your club's standards dropped so low, you were destroyed. The problem is, I think this is the only difference is, I think what you don't see or what you don't appreciate is that fixing it isn't as simple as a team that's won 3 league titles on the bounce, has one bad year, sacks a manager, new kite comes in, and they go back to winning titles again. You are talking about, and all the clubs you use as examples, the irony is Chelsea, because since Chelsea's running of their club has been poor by their own fans' words for the last 6 or 7 years, they're dropping to the levels that you complained about Arsenal being at.
Not at all. Absolute rubbish.
Chelsea.
How many trophies have Chelsea won in 6 years? Last 6, 7 years? They've won the Europa League. They've won the Champions League. They've won the League Cup, an FA Cup.
And their fans, and their fans, and what you didn't listen to is their fans aren't happy. They haven't challenged for a league title in 6 to 7 seasons now. And most Chelsea fans that come on my show, please let me finish my points. Most Chelsea fans who come on my show say, even the ones that loved winning the the Champions League, were like, it papered over cracks at our club. That's coming from Chelsea fans' mouths. The point I'm making is this. When you use Real Madrid and Bayern as examples, they've never been in the position of a club that Mikel Arteta took over from, that Edu took over from. And I think from your point of view, you neglect or lack up the understanding of how much work it goes into rebuilding a football club when there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams at the time that are already ahead of you because you've got to rebuild. And I think that Arteta's done a very good job of getting you to this point. Now, where me and you are on the same page is that from this season moving forward, there are no more excuses. There is no more rebuild.
There will be.
Oh, no, but okay. But in terms of, I'm talking, forget everyone else for a minute, Lee. Just me and you talk man to man. You won't see me, even as a neutral to this, defend him in the way I have done in previous years because he's built a team now that is capable of competing. And if you spend another 250 million this year, there are no more excuses. It's challenge for the major honors, win trophies, or you're a fake, or you're failing. Anyway. That's it. So, no,
And that's what it should be anyway. And the thing is, you said about comparing to Bayern and Real Madrid. I do that deliberately because that's what we smashed the stadium down for. Yeah, to be like them. Even in 2012, when Gazidis was doing an interview, he said, we're going to compete with Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, the top teams in Europe. So we can go back to 2004 when we got the funding. Yeah, and we can go back to 2012 when Gazidis said it. Peter Hillwood said it in 2004. Gazidis said it in 2012. Well, I'm now 11 years further down from 2012, and I am still waiting.
Where are those guys now?
Gazidis just won a league title in Milan last season.
Yeah, so they're not at Arsenal then?
No.
So, but this is my point to you. I want Man United.
He'll went up in the gods, mate. He's dead.
Okay. So again, so God rest your soul. You can't hold anybody at Arsenal now in a senior position accountable for what their predecessors said and did or didn't do, because that's not on them.
No, I get that, but the standards of that football club and the reason behind us moving stadium was to challenge with the best in Europe. So when I've got Vinay Venkatesham getting a promotion off of the back of doing absolutely nothing, and he's now the CEO, for what? How are you getting a pay rise? This is a guy that signed a deal with somebody posing to be a top person for a Chinese car company. The person was a fraudster, and he sat with them signing the photo. I could get the photo for you, Terry. It's out there on the internet. He got a pay rise and promoted off of the back of that. What is going on here? You've then got Edu. Yeah, Edu was an invincible. Invincible. He gets it. He did back then. He don't anymore. Why? It's all about keeping your job, isn't it? Keep the 2 million, because no other club's going to employ him. Yeah, let's be real. When he got the job, I think it was the Brazilian national guy up hierarchy or something said, "Good luck with him, mate." Can
I ask you a question? So last year, you sort of said if Arsenal finished within 5 points of a league title, you'd get behind the manager. You said if he gets us into the title race in May, you'd get behind him.
We weren't in the title race in May.
Okay, so let me finish my point. I'm not trying to catch you out. I'm asking a simple question.
No, I know.
So
I know what I said.
So that was your standards for what is going to make you drop your negative disposition towards your club going into this season? What does your board and your manager is in Arteta have to do collectively for you to go, I'm just going to remain a bit more positive and not overreact to every bump in the road?
How long have you got? Number one, drop the PR campaign. Yeah, because it is a load of waffle. Yeah, at the end of the day, holding up a trophy is the success. Anyone who's not held a trophy up this season has failed. That's it. It's pretty black and white, mate. Yeah, so stop the PR. Yeah, our hierarchy are coming out telling everyone. Yeah, our vice chairman is coming out telling people we've had a very good season. Why? Edu's saying the same. Arteta's saying the same. Every single player's saying the same. No accountability. So number one, drop the PR campaign. Okay. Number two, yeah, get rid of them ex-players that are on the payroll. Yeah, because they're a fucking disgrace. They're an absolute disgrace. Yeah, because again, that's part of the PR. Yeah, and that hoodwinks people. Oh, but it's Ian Wright. It's Ian, legend. So they're more likely to listen to what he says. But when it's the club narrative, yeah, which is not about winning, they're all on board. Yeah, get rid of the puppet journalists. Because again, that's part of the PR campaign. And then every time we don't get a result, stay off social media. I don't want to see any of our footballers going, on to the next, guys. We lost to Manchester City in the biggest game of our season at the Etihad, and we got battered. And they tweeted out, the audacity to tweet out, heads up, on to the next. Like it don't mean nothing. This is why I get the ump, Terry. Then go out in the transfer market, sign Caicedo, sign Rice. Go and get Ivan Toney. I don't care if he's banned till January. That guy will have the bit between his teeth when he comes back in, and that can kick you on from January onwards. Yeah, go and sign top players this summer for me. Yeah, it ain't difficult. We're in the Champions League. Everyone's told me Champions League, you get world-class players. We'll go and sign them then. Go and get Mbappe. Go and get him. He's world-class, right? Go and get him.
And in terms of achievements, so what does the team have to achieve for you to get behind Arteta this year?
Win the league.
So let's win the league.
And win the league and don't throw them cups in the bin. Yeah, the audacity to throw the cups in the bin and then bottle a lead. Yeah, and then try and dress it up as it ain't a bottle job. And then we're handing out new contracts to literally everybody off of the back of failure. Where's the accountability, Terry? There's none at this football club. Yeah, and this is the same with your club, which is why both our clubs have fallen from grace. Yeah, people say to me every week, oh, but why are your standards so high? Yeah, Arsenal have only won 3 Premier Leagues. I started supporting Arsenal 35 years ago when I was 6. 35 years, I've seen Arsenal win 17 major honours, including Community Shields. That's one on average every 2 seasons. Yeah, one on average every 2 seasons. Why should I drop my standards?
So to break this down, for you to get basically to be happy with Arsenal again, you got to win the league and the cups. The players have to stay off social media. You have to get rid of all the ex-players that work at the club, and no more PR from no more sort of political, like sort of
stop the
public
PR
relations.
campaign
No
and have
PR
some
campaign.
accountability and a bit of shame about it. Yeah, we've not won anything for 3 years in a row. We've not won a league for 19 years, and we've not won in Europe for 29 years. And he's out here playing a reserve team, in the second leg at home against Sporting Lisbon. What's that all about?
But if you're winning the league and you're winning trophies, will the ex-players and the PR bother you as much, do you think?
Yeah, it will. Why do we need Ian Wright on every single... Why wasn't Ian Wright on Martinelli's new contract? Why wasn't he there? Why wasn't he on FaceTime to him there and sitting there doing an interview with him? Because they know what they're doing, Terry. Oh, we'll get Saka, he's the academy boy. Oh, we'll get Ian Wright in. Yeah, last time that happened, mate, he was on the pitch with Aubameyang. Yeah? Like, come on. Why do we need him wheeling out new kits every 2 weeks?
I hear you on that. I want to go to some of the super chats.
More merch today as well, by the way. Fucking shameless.
This here says Arsenal should be spending 250 million this summer. Anything less is not good enough.
I agree. I totally agree. And the thing is, this notion of like, oh yeah, but we can't compete with City is absolute rubbish. Absolute garbage. We have got millions and millions and millions available to us, right? And the best thing that happened to these football clubs, especially our 2 football clubs, was COVID. Because now they can play on the emotional connection to the football club, because you never know when it's going to be taken away again. And our clubs and Tottenham, have tapped into that perfectly. Oh, but the stadium's louder. Every stadium's louder. Every stadium is louder because they're now worried that they might not get to see football again. And then they play into that. Arsenal put their season ticket prices up 4% last season. They're putting up another 5% this season. That Adidas kit that got dropped the other day, the top, has gone up 15% in price from the season before. Yeah, Arsenal get 5 to 10% of that. And then to put a name and number on the back is 20 quid. 100 quid for Saka 7 on the shirt. Nah, man, they're taking the piss.
This here says 1 year for Arteta, but we need 2 cups in Champions League semi-finals.
Bigger fish to fry.
Is what said there. Lee is the king of false equivalents.
Mate, sport's a simple game. Yeah, football is a simple game. You either win or you lose. And we lost. And we've lost for 3 years in a row in all competitions. And we've lost for 19 years in the league. And we've lost for 29 years in Europe. Where are you missing this?
Do you not think you're a little bit of a reductionist?
No. The aim of elite sport is to win the major honours. We have not won one for 3 years. That's it. Why is he here?
I understand that. But do you not think you sometimes analyze and describe quite a complex situation in terms of the running of a club, rebuilding it from a broken situation, catching 3, 4, 5, 6 teams that are ahead of you, knocking down a squad, rebuilding it again? Do you not think you sometimes analyze and break down a very complex situation and make it sound so much more simple and easy than it really is?
It is simple, Terry, right? Because we've got a billionaire owner that can put money into the football club and chooses not to, right? 18 out of the 20 Premier League teams, as of this season, before we start next season, got billionaire owners. How many of them actually put money into their football clubs? They're only there for the money. Yeah, and then when fans sit there and big up Reice Nelson signing a contract and Eddie Nketiah signing a contract, all you're doing is saving the owner money. You're telling me there's not a better footballer in them 2 positions on the planet that we could go and buy? So all you've done is, Conkies are sitting there like that. Boy, that was easy. Just give Reice 100 grand a week and they're happy. And I'm not being funny, Terry, yeah? Right? Next season, there's going to be a reality check for a lot of people. Because last season, we started, I think, with 9 wins in our first 10 games. Yeah, I don't see us doing that again this season. 9 out of the first 10 we win. I don't see that. I may be wrong. Yeah, but then there's no World Cup this year. Yeah, plus we're in the Champions League. We have to play our best players in the Champions League. We can't be resting the squad like we did against Sporting Lisbon. Yeah, we can't be throwing cups away. Yeah, so we've got to go out and do what's required this summer. And I think a lot of people
as you've just said there, though, that's the point there, though, Lee. It is far more complex than just go and win the games. There's a lot more going on at football clubs than people make out. Football, in terms of playing the game, I agree with you. It's a simple sport, but running some of the biggest sports clubs in the world, managing a squad through four competitions, and all the inner goings on that are with it. The reason I don't believe it's basic is because of the money that's involved. I don't believe there is that much money in a sport, that much money paid to senior execs, that much money exchanging hands in a simple, basic, almost like a transactional business. Like buying a sandwich at Tesco's is very, very simple. Running Tesco's isn't. And I think that, you've worked in corporate businesses. There are very simple jobs within all business.
But that's why they get paid a fortune, Terry, to do their jobs, mate.
So I understand that, but that doesn't make it any less complex. We have
I agree on that point, yeah. But at the same time, you said about navigating through 4 competitions. We'll buy better players then.
No, and I understand that logic, but equally, I remember doing a show with a journalist. I don't remember which one it was. I remember the conversation 3 years ago, and he spoke about Arsenal were in a bit of a predicament because they don't know who they can attract. Lots of players they've approached have said no because Arsenal were not where they once were. So it takes time. Players will say no to teams that they don't believe. Yeah. I think if 2 years ago you try and sign Declan Rice, I think he says no. So
you pay the money, you get the player. We've seen it a million times.
No, I do. Sometimes you can, but Man United went for a period where people weren't sold on us. So
you signed Zlatan Ibrahimovic in the Europa League.
So Zlatan
for 90 million.
Hang on. But you're missing my. I'm not saying you can't sign them, but you're missing my point. We got those two, and a lot of that was based on Jose being there and Jose what he was going to do, what he was going to build. We ruined that pretty quickly. But we've also signed other people at the time. For instance, the Sanchez deal. Should never have done it. We celebrated at the time because we as fans at that period didn't know what we all know now, because the way information around the way clubs are run is so much more public now than it used to be. He didn't want to join, and we just offered him stupid money that he couldn't say no to. But within 4 hours of his first training session, he realized, I don't want to be here. That's why you need to be careful. You need players that want to come and play for you. Of course, they want to be paid, and they want to be paid the going rate, but there has to be a desire from them to be a success at your club. Now, Zlatan and Pogba, when they joined, I believe they wanted to join Man United for all the right reasons as well. So you have to get that balance right, in my opinion. We have another super chat here.
I agree. So can I just say one thing here? Erling Haaland the other day, after scoring 50-odd goals this season, winning everything, said to Thierry Henry, how do you think I can improve?
No, I agree with that.
Right? Yeah. So he gets it. Meanwhile, Gabriel Jesus, who left that club to come and play for this club, said, with the aim at the start of the season was to win a trophy. He said this on the last day of the season. The aim was to win a trophy. We didn't do that, but it's been a good season, a very good season. Levels, mate. Levels.
No, I understand that, but I do think what you do in these circumstances, Lee, is you overanalyze, not rehearsed, but sort of media-trained responses from players. And I'll give you an example. Declan Rice has been caught on camera twice since winning the Europa Conference League. Basically stating he's a West Ham player, he loves it. I think some member of the public got him on the phone the other day, and he basically said, "No, I'm going to stay." We all know he's lying. We all know he isn't telling the truth, but he's saying what is tactful, professional, and probably the right thing to say at that moment in time. And I understand you would like to hear a player say, we want to do more, we want to do this, but sometimes
I'd just rather they shut up. That's what I'd
rather. Maybe, but that's the thing for me though. I don't take too much.
Yeah, but fans will, Terry. Me and you might not.
Lee,
millions of fans will believe what he says.
You do it the other way as well, though. So when someone like Bruno comes out and says all the right things, because you don't like Bruno, you go, but
he said, I scored a penalty in the 6-1. I had a good game. Like, come on, mate. You should have been sacked then.
You know exactly what we spoke about. So again, so you didn't listen to that interview. He was being sarcastic. What he was,
he was being sarcastic. Are you mad?
He was being sarcastic in the same way Paul Pogba did it 2 years prior, was sarcastic in a Sky interview. Because Paul Pogba did an interview where he turned around and said, I had a really good game that match. I've done this, I've done that, done the other, but I didn't score or assist. I suppose I did badly. What Bruno was doing is saying, unless I score goals, I get slagged off, right? Because I don't do anything but score goals. At least I had a good game in that match. He was being sarcastically. The problem is you don't listen to these things in their entirety.
Yeah,
but if you don't want to hear things and you don't want to listen to them in their entirety, what you're always going to do, and this is why you're a reductionist, you're always going to take something out of context, not understand it fully, and then you create an opinion on it.
Terry, when we've just bottled a league title, being 8 points clear, right? And we've just spanked Wolves 5-0 on the last day of the season, and our signing striker is standing there saying our aim was to win a trophy this season. We didn't, but it's been a very good season. Yeah, millions of people are going to believe that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Why are you even saying that?
But I think
Why are you coming out saying that?
Now I understand that, and I get where you're coming from. And I think, again, without watching, I didn't watch that interview, but I think what he's alluding to is we've gone from being a team everyone wrote off to a team that was challenging for that title.
Yeah, 1-0.
It's very good that they've done that. It's about growing and moving on to that next level. But I think from my point of view, I get where you're coming from. I sometimes want my players to remain a bit more quiet. I want to get through some more of these super chats here. This one says, half the problem Lee listed are the owners, not manager. Squad hasn't been good enough to win major trophies. Eddie, new deal is down to funds not being available to Arteta. The Cronkies are the issue.
Well, why don't he call them out then? Why don't he call them out? Why don't the fans call them out? Because everyone's jumping for joy. Oh, the Cronkies. Oh, they're great. Really? Really? Okay. Cool. Good one.
Just putting on some aftershave. That was all. Do you know, it's a really weird thing. It's a work thing. I work harder when I smell aftershave. Because when I used to work in the bank, everyone smelled good. It's like a work thing. It's a mental thing for my head. It sounds dumb, but it's true. This says the Daily can see anyone else's point of view and go, I see where you're coming from. Arsenal will win the treble. I promise you. Cracking show, though.
Yeah, big up, man. It's not difficult, though. You either win or you lose. Yeah, all of this dressing up like, oh, we've had a good season. What did you win? What did you win, Gabriel Jesus? Oh, we didn't win anything. The aim was to win a trophy, but we didn't. But we've had a really good season. What are you chatting about?
Yeah, you don't think Brighton. This man doesn't think Brighton had a good season last year. So
they didn't. 121 years on the spin, they ain't won anything. What are you chatting about? Maybe it's 122 now. They haven't won a major honour in their whole history. Why is everyone giving them credit? They've literally failed for 122 years.
I'll come back to this one in a minute. We'll keep it on topic. Get this hater off. More negative than an electron. Sorry, is what Hammy says.
Is that a Spurs shirt? Is that a Spurs shirt?
Maybe. I understand Lee's frustration with the standards, but I feel like Arteta had a vision for how he wanted the club to be run, and that took time. I agree.
Well, yeah, that's all cool, but like people are making out this is revolutionary what he's doing. This is what we should be doing.
I get that. I do get that element. If Arteta wasn't Arsenal's manager, do you think Saliba, Martinelli, Ramsdale, Saka would have signed new deals? Also, would Arsenal have got Rice?
Well, Saka signed a new deal and thanked Unai Emery the first time round. So if Emery was the manager, I'm pretty sure he would have stayed. Yeah, Martinelli was signed by. In fact, funny that because most of the players you've listed were signed by Unai Emery. Yeah, and he wouldn't have signed Ramsdale either because he would have kept Martinez or Leno. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. Listen, at the end of the day, yeah, there's a manager out there that is better than Arteta. So why can't we get him? There's players out there that are better than the current 11. So why can't we get them? This is what we're supposed to be doing, right? Yeah, but unfortunately, this football club and its PR stinks. Yeah, and it has built this whole football club around Mikel Arteta's career. Yeah, because they are looking for another Arsene Wenger. Yeah, and they're hoping that they can find it with him. Next season, this farce ends.
This says here, so would you sack a new manager if they failed in their first season or second season? And if you are sacking them only after two, how many world-class managers do you think they are? Sorry, how many world-class managers do you think there are to keep sacking them?
Well, I don't know. Chelsea, Bayern Munich and Madrid found 54 between them, or 51 between them, sorry. 51 managers between them in the last 19 years. They seem to do all right, don't they? Oh, but Chelsea have had a shit season. Yeah, okay, mate. Good one. Yeah, we literally won the same. Nothing.
But to answer his question, though, if how soon, if you run Arsenal how you want to run Arsenal and you think all clubs should be run this way, you sack Arteta this year because he didn't win, you bring in Ancelotti. How many years do you give Ancelotti to win the Premier League or Champions League before you sack him? 2
seasons, then bin. Yeah, if Ancelotti comes in, I expect us to be in finals or challenge him for the title in the first season because he's a quality manager.
So 2 seasons, no matter what.
If you don't win anything in the first season, you go, okay, cool, right, now go again next summer, give him the money, now you better win something. If you don't, you're sacked, mate. Yeah, and if you're not looking like you're anywhere near the title after 10 games, bin him. Yeah, that's how it is. This is an elite level sport, Terry. Yeah, this is not a manager's career. This is a football club. I couldn't care less about who the manager is. Win stuff. Yeah, but with this manager, they have made it all about his whole career. Oh, he's learning on the job, the youngest squad. Why do you think we signed Reice up? 2 reasons. Number 1, to save the owner money, which he's part of, by the way. Yeah, because he's allowed it. And number 2, to keep this stupid myth going about it's a young squad. We had a younger squad in 2009 and got Champions League semi. Yeah, BS, man. BS. Yeah, and at the end of the day, them 3 clubs I've just mentioned have had 51 managers between them in 19 years. They're the most 3 successful clubs on the planet in that time. Seems to work, doesn't it? Yeah, when people say, oh, you're so negative, well, go and ask Madrid fans what they do after every single loss. Yeah, go and have a look on YouTube and look for the videos of them cussing their players outside the ground after an El Clasico. Yeah?
I will just say, I understand your logic, but you apply your logic across all football clubs, it would never work. It only works with 2 or 3 teams that have monopolies. It can't work for everybody. You can't have everyone sack their managers every 2 years.
Why?
Because how would you keep changing the squads, the ideology? How would you keep moving in that same direction?
The ideology should be from the club.
How could you even? I understand that, but then that means there's only a set amount of managers. You've sacked them all now. Are you going to bring a guy back you sacked 10 years ago? Is that how you would do it, or what?
Well,
how
Capello got the job at Real Madrid 10 years after he got sacked the first time for winning the league, and then he won the league again and got sacked again.
Lee, I'm not arguing. I'm asking you questions. So you would say like you'd sack Arteta now. You bring in Ancelotti. In 2 years, you sack him. In 2 years after that, maybe 3 years after that, because somebody wins the league in those 2 years, you sack Zidane.
Simeone or Zidane. This is what I'm saying. Look at the names we're listing here, by the way. You're telling me they couldn't do better.
Hang on. So I don't want to argue about art names. I'm trying to understand logic here. So, but theoretically, if in that 7, 8, 9, 10-year period that Arteta has been gone, he moves to 3 other clubs and wins league titles, you'd welcome him back because he's become a better manager. You wouldn't rule out bringing managers back. That's how you run it.
Face. Go and win stuff. Why is he learning on the job at Arsenal? Why isn't he learning at Wigan? Yeah, or Barnet. Why is he learning at our club?
But you do understand the flaw, I think, in your logic. If every club sacks after 2 years if they don't win the league, that means all managers keep getting sacked, and you never have enough time in the job to build up the experience to become world class. Do you? Some managers straight away. How do you build up the experience if you're always getting sacked? You're not winning the league.
By winning trophies, because then you keep your job.
Okay, but there's only,
come on, it ain't rocket science, though.
Okay. So that means only 4 managers per season maximum can keep their jobs.
Yeah, the other 16 have failed.
So when they keep failing and having to go somewhere new and starting again, how do they build up the experience and regularity of managing?
Go and win stuff somewhere else. Yeah, at the end of the day, Terry, I am not interested in Mikel Arteta's career. I couldn't care less whether he's going to be a great manager or not. Win me trophies now. I don't care what you're going to do in 10 years or 20 years or 150 years. Win me trophies now. You have been in that job 4 years. In 6 months' time, he's had that job 4 years. 1 trophy.
No, I understand what you're saying about Arteta. I'm taking it away from Arteta and trying to talk more broadly.
Real Madrid had 3 managers in 1 season and still won the league.
Okay, Real Madrid are much bigger and better than you. I'm not worried about them.
Which is where we should be.
Bro, I'm not talking about them. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to apply your logic out throughout football and how that works and how anybody creates a career if they're being sacked every 12 to 18 months because they didn't win the Premier League title.
The geezer who won the Europa League with Sevilla the other week against Roma. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was the 3rd manager Sevilla have had this season.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it worked then, didn't it? Yeah, Nagelsmann got sacked by Bayern Munich and he was 2nd in the league. Tuchel got the job and won the league. Well, it worked then, didn't it?
So I understand it can work. I'm again, Lee, you're taking this very personally. I'm trying to understand.
No, I'm not taking it personally. The aim is to win, and this guy ain't winning.
But again, I understand that, but you don't ever answer. Well, very rarely do you answer questions directly. You go off and say, well, this club did this. I'm asking to understand your logic. Of course, clubs have sacked managers in the middle of seasons and gone on to win things. Some clubs sack managers middle of the seasons and get relegated or don't win things. You know, we saw Chelsea get rid of Jose and bring in Avram Grant and win nothing. So we've seen it in every single direction.
We also see him bring in Tuchel and win the Champions League.
Yeah, that isn't the argument. What I'm trying to understand is how you apply your logic across all football. Because I think for Arsenal, I get why it would work.
I couldn't care less about the other clubs. I want my club to win. I couldn't care less about Brighton being like 120 years out. I couldn't care less. All I care about, get me the best manager that can manage my football club. That's it. Get me the best players, and go and win stuff. I don't want to hear no waffle, no PR, no ex-players. Don't care about any of that crap. Go and win.
What I think would happen is if you had a manager in there that you believed is one of the best in the world, I don't think you'd have this 2-year sack thing.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I don't think you would have it. I don't think you would have it.
100%. I said exactly the same with Unai Emery. Yeah, I took somebody clipped me in a video of mine from years ago. Yeah, when Emery was the manager and we finished. Oh no, I was sat with Chig and Chig said, "What's your aim for the season?" I said, "Well, if we get one away win this season, yeah, and finish 5th, we've overachieved." Yeah, but people thought I was being serious. No, it was a piss take because Arsene Wenger had us in 6th. Yeah, the season before with no away wins.
Okay, I want to.
It's the same with Emery. I said Emery better win stuff. He got sacked.
I get you on that. I want to try and get through these. We can't spend 10 minutes on each one, but this one says Arsenal were 12th when Arteta took over. Squad was a shambles, and the bench has been poor every season. Arteta has been in charge. That's on the owners.
No, they weren't 12th. Where are you making this crap up from, mate? They were 8th. They were 8th when he got the job, and he finished 8th. What are you chatting about? Yeah, and when Unai Emery got sacked, we were joint 6th. But we were still in 8th position. So there was no progress whatsoever by sacking the manager that year, apart from winning the FA Cup, which was the aim. Win a trophy. Well done. He's then ripped the whole squad to pieces, spent £500 million, soon to be 600 million, and has won nothing since. Why is everyone lauding this guy up?
What season was he sacked in? Was it the 1920 season?
2020, yeah. We were joint 8th. Joint 6th. We were level on points with... Who's we level on points with? I think we were 8 points off of 4th place when Unai Emery got sacked.
Unai Emery got sacked on the 29th.
He got sacked on 13 games in, I think. We weren't 12th. I don't know what he's chatting about when he got the job. 12th. What are you talking about?
13 games in. Arsenal were
8th.
Yes, you were 8th.
Joint 6th.
Okay though. When was Arteta employed?
Fuck knows. December something. December 20th, maybe?
Yeah. That's where, again, this is what I mean when these debates happen. You're right about that. Hang on. Arsenal appoints. I'm trying to get the right date. I want to make sure this is right.
We weren't 12th when Arteta got the job. I know that is a fact. We were not 12th.
Hang on. Just slow down.
How many points off 4th were we?
Hang on. Just
No, I'm letting you do it. Multitask, tell. How many points off of 4th were we when Emery got sacked? 13 games in, we were 8th. I think we were 8 points off 4th. Yeah,
I've got to change it back now because I was moving it. So you were in 8th place and you were 8 points. 8 points off the top 4.
Off top 4 with 25 games to go.
Okay. So I'm just trying to get to when Arteta was appointed to see if this makes more sense. Because it's hard to do. I think his
first game was Boxing Day. I may be wrong. Maybe the game before Christmas Day. 23rd or something.
Yeah. So you were 11th when he was appointed.
So we weren't 12th then, were we?
So you were 11th. You were 11th when he was appointed, and at that point you were 9 points off of top 4.
And then where did we finish?
And you finished on 8th, as we know. So you were 3 places better off, and you finished 10 points away from top 4.
Oh, so he made us worse then. Okay, great. Thanks. Case closed. Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
This comment.
Almost like we should have just kept the manager previously to get us in the top 4, which was the aim for this club. Well done though. He won the FA Cup. Big up.
Mark my words. Tottenham will win a trophy before Arteta does. He's a bottler, and we deserve better. Is what Rude Boy says. Lee, if Arteta wins the Carabao Cup next season, do you sack him?
Well, according to our fan base, my friend, that cup is beneath us.
No, but what's your opinion?
Well, if he wins a trophy, no, you don't sack him because he's won a trophy. And this is why I see people saying about West Ham have not had a better season than Arsenal because they finished 13th or whatever. They have. They've won something. They've had a better season than Man United because they've won in Europe. Why are people so not getting this, Terry? 2nd or 13th is irrelevant. You ain't won it. But now you have opportunities to win trophies, the cup competitions, European ones, gazump the Carabao Cup. That's it. Jesus Christ, how are people so dense to this? Seriously, Sky Sports have got a lot to answer for.
Hammy here says, does Lee understand what progress is?
Progress is winning, mate. Winning trophies. Yeah, progress. I don't give a shit how we get there. Win. 4 years nearly in the job. He's won 1 out of 15 cups.
Jay says, what is needed from Arteta this summer and next season to not get sacked?
Well, this fan base twerked for him anyway, so he'll probably be here regardless, mate. We could finish 17th and he'll keep his job. No, all jokes aside, I do think he'll be sacked next season. The only way he keeps his job is win something. There's an awful lot of people that have been lying through their teeth for 3 years. Yeah, saying, and then they're all saying now, oh yeah, but this season he's got to win something this season. He's got to win something this season. Cool. Yeah, all the parties and the crowd surfing on the last day of the season was always going to happen. Oh, we've united the club again. Well done, mate. Yeah, 30,000 walked out in the game before that against Brighton. That told me everything. Yeah. Best season some of these people have seen for 19 years, and they walked out with 20 minutes to go.
There we go. Trivia question, Terry. How many countries did Cristiano Columbus, CR7, discover in Europe? 1, 2, 4. 4 European countries he's played in. That's what I'm gonna. That's the answer I'm gonna give. It could be completely wrong. KSE is place mill. Is place mill? Place mill. What does that mean?
Piecemeal.
Piecemeal. Oh, piecemeal. Sorry, I'm being dumb. Lee is right. My brain didn't work then. Now is the time for Kroenke to change 10 years of transfer failure. Remember Suarez. This is what we have had for years. This here states it's not year after year under Fort Kroenke. Sorry, I already done that one there. Already read that one out. Lee is 100% right. 28 years of fan. We need 5+ rice is what Sam says.
Yep.
Rory says, Lee, you're a top guy, but I don't understand your Luke Shaw hate. I think he's a top player. He's been class 2 seasons now. Just needs a better players around him. What do you think?
Totally disagree. Complete trash. Let's be real with it. He's been at Man United for a decade. And what has he achieved there, apart from some of the biggest embarrassments in your history?
He has won an FA Cup, 2 League Cups, and a European Cup, which you said is big.
Okay, cool. So he's achieved 4 trophies out of how many?
In 10 years.
That's not all on him. But at the same time, he has been part of your longest trophy drought for 50 years. Yeah, and he's been part of your biggest defeat for 128 years. Yeah, and he's been rewarded with a new contract. It's going well, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. No accountability. He's been part of some of the mad defeats you've had against Liverpool, against who was the other one that spanked you up? Tottenham. Was it Tottenham? Yeah, Tottenham 6 when Jose was manager. Tottenham, yeah, Liverpool, Man City. Some of the embarrassing defeats you've had. He's been part of all of them.
In Luke Shaw's example, winning trophies isn't more important than the big failures he's had.
No, he's won trophies there. Granted, fair play, fantastic, yeah. But then you sacked the manager, yeah, that won you the trophies, and kept him.
But that's nothing to do with Luke Shaw.
You didn't upgrade on him.
That isn't my question. I'm trying to understand your logic again.
No, sorry, trophies are the aim of elite sport. We know this. But what I'm saying is, if you're telling me there's not a better left back in the world...
That isn't the question. That isn't the question.
No, well, it is the question.
No, I'm asking you a different question. Listen to my question before you answer it. When it comes to... You said trophies are the be-all and end-all. But they're not if you think bad results and other failures outweigh those trophies, correct?
No, well, I didn't say they outweigh it. I just gave you an example of what he's done at Man United. He's won trophies. He's been part of your biggest embarrassing defeats, and he ain't very good.
So you wouldn't give him a new deal based on
no chance. I said this to you the other week.
Which is to the question. So winning trophies isn't everything. It's more than just trophies needed.
No, Terry, you're confusing yourself, mate.
No, I'm not. I'm asking you a question.
That guy's asked a question. What do you think? So I've told you he's won trophies, factually correct, and he's been part of some of the biggest embarrassments in your history, factually correct. He's trash. Get rid of him. That's it. Where are we getting confused?
We're not confused. I've asked you an additional question. The additional question is: so just winning trophies isn't enough to be successful in your opinion? It's more than that.
In what way? Yeah, you've won trophies. Well done. Now it's time to go. Goodbye.
So I'm trying to make sure I've understood what you've said. You've said he's won trophies, but because of the embarrassing results and the level of player he is, he shouldn't have been given a new deal. So I'm saying, so just so I'm hearing you right, just winning trophies isn't enough for you.
Terry. It's pretty simple. The guy is trash, in my opinion.
Yes.
He's won trophies. Well done. Congratulations. But now we're going to go and buy a better player in that position.
I get that.
For requirements. So that's it. You're a paid employee. You're leaving. Goodbye.
So you agree with me? It's not just about winning trophies. It's about being good enough, not having embarrassing results. It's not just about because you said something earlier.
Just to end this. Yes.
Lee, it's not about ending it. I'm trying to agree with you. Oh my God, Lee!
As an individual
Lee!
player, as an
Lee!
individual, I don't know. Why do you get so angry? You're winding yourself up.
I'm not
answered the
angry. I'm
question.
not angry. I'm laughing. I'm sorry to say I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because I'm agreeing with you, but you're arguing back with me instead of listening. It's hilarious. So
The guy asked me a question. I've answered it.
yeah, and I'm asking you an additional question. So make sure I'm going right. I've understood you right. You're basically saying that winning trophies isn't enough, and I do agree.
No, winning trophies as a player, yeah, is slightly different to winning trophies as a football club. Yeah, my football club is going to be my football club forever. Yeah, these players are not going to be here forever, Terry.
Totally,
so on your question, yes, you're right.
Yeah,
I agree.
And we agree with each other. I was agreeing with you, Lee. I don't know why I got
swear, every week we do this.
Honestly, because Lee, I think it happens to you, and I mean this in a nice way. You get so many people come for you. Sometimes when I start asking questions to understand things deeper, you go straight into attack mode and defense mode.
No, is Luke Shaw? Is there a better left back in the world than Luke Shaw?
Yes.
Well, there you go. He shouldn't be at your club then. End of. Whether he's won trophies, not won trophies, is irrelevant.
Okay, let me.
It's the fact that he's not the best in the world.
Again, I agree with your logic, but again, when you apply it out across football, that don't make sense. And I'll tell you as to why. Take it away from Luke Shaw because you've got a shrouded belief in him. Who's the best left back in the world?
It's Kieran Tierney.
So Kieran Tierney. Okay, so Kieran Tierney is the best left back in the world. Okay, yeah. Okay. So just follow my thought through. So theoretically, your view on Luke Shaw is that every club shouldn't want to renew their left back because there's a better version out. There's a better left back out there, right?
Yeah.
So, but only one club can have Kieran Tierney. So what do you do with the rest of the left backs?
Hang on, hold on. You just said every club shouldn't be renewing their left back if there's a better left back out there.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean it's the best left back, does it? It just means there's a better left back to your left back.
But it's about being attainable. So the point is this. Now, I understand. I said with Luke Shaw, I get your point. You may think 30, 40 are better. But what if you've got a good left back who maybe ranked 8th in the world, but the people above him are not attainable? They're at clubs that won't ever sell to you.
Everyone's attainable.
They're long-term. You're telling me Man United could get Salah off Liverpool?
Yeah. If Man United... So you're telling me, Terry, stop 1 second. Stop 1 second. You're telling me if Man United go to Liverpool and offer him £1 billion, they're saying no.
But we're not.
You're telling me.
But we're not.
No. Mental gymnastics in your head is not going to affect this conversation.
But
you just said that he's unattainable. No, he ain't. Pay the money, you'll get the player. If you offered him $1 billion, if you offer Liverpool $1 billion,
and Man United got $1 billion. How can Man United haven't got £1 billion to offer?
Okay.
So that doesn't make sense.
If you offer him zero, they're going to say no, aren't they? We want Salah. Come to us. So there's a price between 0 and $1 billion that you can get him for. Then come on, Terry.
Okay. So you're right. You're right in the sense of if you pay enough money for Mo Salah that it bankrupt your club and you go out of business and never play football again, you can get him. But in real transfer terms, are you telling me for a sensible amount of money, do you reckon if Man United bid £150 million today, we'd get Salah from Liverpool?
How much?
150 million. Would we get him?
Possibly. Because mate, Liverpool is skin. Liverpool is skin.
Lee!
Liverpool is skin.
He gone.
Liverpool is skin.
Mohamed
Salah's not going to be around forever, mate. They could cash in.
They are not selling him to Man United.
I'll give you another example of an elite, because I don't think he's that great. Yeah, but an elite level player. Yeah, did you think Karim Benzema was attainable this summer? Because I don't think anyone did they? But throw enough money at him, he's going.
Exactly. Yes, yeah, but he's been given a salary of £200 million a year. Man United couldn't afford that, so he's unattainable. It's still the same outcome.
Everyone's got a price, Terry. You just have to pay it.
Everyone's got a price, but if that price,
so everyone's attainable.
But Lee. But
if everyone's got a price, they're attainable.
Okay, if I go and buy a house that I can't afford and then I go bankrupt, that's stupidity, right?
Well, yeah, obviously. I know where you're going with this.
So
everyone is attainable if you pay the price.
Okay, but again, you're taking it into unrealistic territory that wouldn't exist in football. So you're taking it into Dreamland, Lee.
We've just gone from Dreamland,
Lee.
Dreamland. Left backs, Terry. We were talking about left backs at lower league teams and lower down the table teams, yeah. And you were talking about replacing them, and now we're talking about Karim Benzema and Mohamed Salah. Yeah, so we're talking about left backs. If Brighton's left back, who's Brighton's left back? No, actually, let's go Newcastle's left back. Yeah, Dan Burn. Yeah, Dan Burn. Is there a better left back out there that's not the best left back in the world, but is there a better left back out there than Dan Burn?
Luke Shaw's better than Dan Burn.
Okay. Arguable, but cool. But they're looking at Kieran Tierney, for example. That is a massive upgrade on what they've got.
I agree. I agree.
Dan Burn will then be a massive upgrade to another left back at another club.
No, I understand. I
Yeah.
understand that, but again, this is the thing. I understand where you're coming from, and I'm just trying to understand your logic. Sometimes, though, you have to stick with what you got, because if the 2 or 3 players you find in the market that are a considerable upgrade, like you said earlier, there's no point. Like the kind of you got Reece Nelson. The only time there's a point to improving on Reece Nelson is if he's considerably better. There's no point dropping 25, 30 million in the transfer market for somebody only marginally better. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. But going by the world-class talent that we can attract
again,
in the
if the world-class talent isn't available or attainable, you can't do it. Let's move on to some of these super chats. I don't want to forget them. This here says AFTV out, Top Gooners out, Arteta out is what he answers here. By the way, did you? Someone's told me this. I haven't seen it yet. Someone said that Ty said that City's treble was lucky.
I don't watch it, mate. I only watch what I get sent.
I didn't see it, but has Declan Rice still been confirmed? Any news on Caicedo? The news that the bid's coming is from all the top journalists. It's very, very close. Nothing new on Caicedo. We get them both, and we need another centre back. Thank you very much. Debbie here says they are acting like Mbappe would not do great in the Prem. Yeah, anyone who doesn't think Mbappe would kill it in the Prem's an idiot, Debs. Absolute idiot. Does anybody have a chance if Mbappe joins City? If Mbappe goes to City with Haaland, the league's done. It was already
talking about Reece Nelson a minute ago. Well, there's one that's better than him, considerably better than him, and obtainable. Yeah, go and get him.
Who's attainable?
Mbappe.
Yeah, you guys should be going for him. I agree with that one.
There you go. But we gave Reece Nelson a deal instead.
I agree with that one. Will Waffle unit other? Sorry, my brain hurts.
Will waffle until
other clubs join the race to sign him. Talking about Declan Rice, pull out because we don't want a bidding war. Sign players nobody wants, and you know the rest is what Tito says.
You've seen it before as well, yeah?
Hey, Tito. It took us till deadline day to pay the release clause for Party.
Exactly.
Very true.
And we knew the price all summer.
Terry, if Qatar wins the bid, would you celebrate? I'm gonna rub myself in oil. I'm gonna go and buy a new Man United kit and cover myself in oil and come on live. That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh no.
It's gonna be great.
No. This ain't OnlyFans, mate.
What is needed from our Arteta this? Okay, already done that one then, my friend. Thank you very much, Jay. I'm not suggesting we would come, but Arsenal should be in contact with it. He would come. He would come. Arsenal should be in contact with Mbappe's agent right now after all the Champions League track the best players, apparently. Just saying. I hear you, Brandon, my guy. Lee has a problem with the need for instant gratification. Targets are met through improvements. Delusion is thinking you hit targets without progression.
Mate, 19 years and waiting. 29 years for a European trophy. Yeah, how much longer have I got to wait with all this irrelevant PR and waffle?
This says the City treble has you guys rattled. Not really.
Ain't got me rattled. I'm on loan, mate. I'm well. I'm sweet.
Have they become one of the Europe's greatest ever teams now, in your opinion?
Well, they have to be considered that, or in that conversation. They've won 3 trophies in one season. Yeah, I ain't heard no PR. I haven't seen Sean Goater wheeling out new merch or Paul Dickoff. I ain't seen any of these sat on TalkSport chatting crap. I ain't seen any of their players waffling about top 4.
In fairness, like none of their fans know who the fuck they are nowadays. To be fair to that one, at least you're right.
I know Paul Dickoff's on their YouTube.
Yeah, I see him on there. I'm only winding him up. Yeah, but none of the modern day fans. I do want to call one of their fans out though, Hamza. If Hamza can prove me wrong, I will pay £2,000 to a charity of his choice. But Hamza needs to let me come to his family home and go through his family albums when he was a kid, because I'm convinced he wasn't wearing a City shirt as a kid. It was another club. And if he lets me do it and I find no evidence he supported somebody else, I'll give £2,000 to a charity of his choice. Hamza, you've been called out.
Maybe if one of his friends from school is watching this, they can send in some pictures to Terry.
His cousin on camera said he was an Arsenal fan when he grew up.
Wow. Send the pictures in, man. Surely he's in an Arsenal shirt, right?
This here says all you need to know is that we are linked with Timothy Castagne.
You tell him, mate. You tell him, boy.
And chicken scraps. That's the window for us Arsenal fans. Be excited.
Yep.
This here says this guy is deluded. He won't admit and he's wrong. Which one of us are you talking about, AJ? We both are a bit like that, to be fair. We're both a bit like that. But no, listen, I school. Well, we'll know a school league gunner most weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good one. Yeah, 19 years without a trophy, a title tell.
I school him so much. Most weeks he turns up with an apple for me. Do you know what I'm saying? It's one of them ones. I'm only joking. I'm only joking indeed. Listen, viewers, make sure you've hit the like button for us. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you've got the bell notifications turned on as well. Lee, always a pleasure, my friend, to sit and talk to you. 2 hours just flies by. But I'm going to go and sit by the pool now. Have a little
same. I'm going to do the same.
Hey, nice. Love it. Love it. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all